I like it. You have to look good to play good.
Doug Pelfrey will kick off for Kentucky, and back deep for Rutgers, number 1, Ron Allen, and number 15, Gary Melton. They stand inside the 5-yard line. It's a high kick into the end zone. Melton will take it out. He's at the 10, to the 15, and knocked down at the 20-yard line and hard, and Rutgers will put it in play there. Moore on the tackle for Kentucky. Rutgers will go on offense first, and the Scarlet Knights will start with Travis Broadbent at center. Owens and Christ are the guards. Mitchell and Forbes the tackles, and James Jenkins, he's a good one, at tight end. Randy Jackson has experience at split end. Gary Melton, who just ran back the kick, the flanker. TK Dorsey and James Cann, the starting backs behind quarterback Tom Tarver, although the Knights come out in a one-back set right now. 1st and 10 for Rutgers at the 21. Tarver gives up the middle. TK Dorsey, he's got an opening. He's at the 40, to the 50, to the 40, and finally dragged down from behind at the 26-yard line.
Huge hold for TK Dorsey, the transfer out of the University of Miami. Rutgers' first true fullback in a long time. A little counter play. Takes one step to the right, cuts it back left, and then it's Green Acres as he heads down the sideline. Pretty good speed for 218-pound fullback. Nice move by TK Dorsey. His first official carry for the Scarlet Knights, and what a job.
Dorsey, the sophomore from Somerset, New Jersey, went to Immaculata High School in Somerville, and what a play for the Knights to start off with. Here's Dorsey again, and makes a nice cut as he's brought down at the 21-yard line. Randy Holleran and Billy Swanson, the linebackers for Kentucky combined. Here's the Wildcat defense in some interesting positions, which we'll talk about later. Dean Wells, he's the strike. That's right, the strike. Jody Matthews, the defensive tackle. Joey Couch, outstanding nose guard. Derek Thomas, the other end. Randy Holleran, who just made that tackle along with Swanson. Jeff Brady is the bandit. Salim Shadid is the rover. Tolbert, Willis, and Ward in the defensive backfield. And we'll talk about those positions as I mentioned. It is 2nd down and 8 for Rutgers at the 21. The give is up the middle, straight ahead, blocking that time, down to the 18-yard line. The defensive tackle, Jody Matthews, makes the play.
TK Dorsey getting quite a workout. 3 plays, 3 carries for Dorsey. As we mentioned, he is the first really true fullback that Rutgers has had in a while at 218 pounds, about 6 feet tall, and he's a real tough guy. I talked to Stan Parrish, Rutgers' offensive coordinator, during the week, and he said, man, this kid's a street fighter, and we're going to give him a workout. So far, he's told us the truth.
Rutgers going with a couple of tight ends early. Tim Pernetti, number 90, and also John Murphy, number 14 in the game. Tarver looks to fake it. He's in trouble. Now he ad-libs a little bit, turns the corner, and is dragged out of bounds at the 22. So Tarver showing his fine athletic ability there. And finally, Billy Swanson drags him down.
A nice play by Tarver. He got hit for the loss, but he avoided the big loss, and he used his athleticism to get out of it. Let's check it out on the replay. Now watch, he rolls to his right, but there's a blitz on right now. And you see he steps back to his left, shows his good speed to try to get away from the tackler. He's finally dragged down, but he did a nice job, dragged down by Swanson, but he did a nice job to get away from the big loss and keep them within field goal range.
John Benestat attempts the field goal. It is no good. So the freshman from Boca Raton, Florida, unable to connect. So the Knights come up empty after the big play by Dorsey, and I know Doug Graber doesn't like to see that.
No, he feels like he's got to take advantage of every single opportunity.
All right, Kentucky takes the field. Here's the Wildcat offense. Kentucky with quarterback Freddie Maggart up front. They have a pretty nice-sized offensive line.
These
and
days,
now Maggart,
Lou, go ahead,
is coming over to the sidelines, and I don't know if he called timeout or what the situation is. He did. I believe he called timeout.
Very
he
unusual
did.
call,
So we will take a break as well. Timeout on the field. 13 minutes, 17 seconds remaining. First quarter. No score. Rutgers and Kentucky.
Many scientists say global warming is an experiment with the Earth we can't afford to take part in.
Already, the 7 warmest years of this century occurred in this past decade. Yet rainforests that could help stop this warming trend are being destroyed. 50 acres a minute of every day.
The Sierra Club says it's not too late to do something. Find out how you can make a difference. Do it for your kids, but do it today.
Meanwhile, the Tokyo stock market fell off.
Morning. Coffee's made, cat's fed. It's all yours.
I need to watch the weather.
Your sister has a game this afternoon.
Yellow umbrella on the mountain.
You want to see the umbrella?
Here. I know where it is. Underneath, certainly, because it's a chilly rain inside.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Study for your science test?
Cable. It's part of life.
This message was brought to you by TKR Cable Company. We're making it work.
As we come back, Kentucky has a 2nd down and 6. The ball marked at the 25. Freddie Maggart, the quarterback, is knocked out of bounds. Fine play by Sean Williams, the junior outside linebacker for Rutgers. Al Baker carried on the first play for the Wildcats and got a couple of yards. All right, Kentucky offensively. Matt Branham is the center. Todd Perry and Joel Mazzella, fine story at guard. Lar and Bradley, the tackles. Rodney Jackson, the tight end. Steve Phillips is the split end. John Bolden, a fine flanker. Baker and Walker behind quarterback Freddie Maggart, junior, 6'2", 212 pounds, out of Cumberland, Kentucky. Here they go the Wildcats out of the shotgun. Maggart throws. It is caught. No, they say incomplete. Knocked out of bounds by Ron Allen, intended for John Bolden. So the Scarlet defense comes up big, and we'll tell you who they are the next time that they come on the field. So Rutgers defense does well on that series, Frank.
Very important for Rutgers to have a good first defensive series, because last year Rutgers was just plain terrible on defense, Lou. So it was very important that they come out and play well here under the new regime.
Bill Hawk is in the game to kick. 6'2", 208. Jim Guarantano is back deep for Rutgers. It's an end-over-end kick. Guarantano fumbles the ball, but Rutgers recovers at the 40-yard line. And that's one thing the Knights don't want to do. Willie Wilkes was the man who fell on the ball for the Scarlet Knights. So Rutgers will come out for their second offensive possession.
Guarantano let the ball hit him in the shoulder pads that time, a cardinal sin. You should never allow that to happen as a punt returner. And Guarantano is a good athlete and a good baseball player. He's a good outfielder in high school. He should know better than that. You should always use your hands to cradle the ball into your body. That's all technique. Rutgers got lucky, though, that time and recovered the ball still with good field position on their own 40.
The Knights with twin receivers right side, but then they give it to William Bailey, who carries the football to the 45-yard line. Now, Bailey, a sophomore, 5'6", out of West Milford. Interesting story, Frank. A walk-on, 7th on the depth chart at one time. You know what it is to be 7th on the depth chart and get into the first game of the season?
Oh, absolutely. And they're very, very high on this kid. All the coaches like William Bailey. But not only do the coaches like him, the players like him and respect him. When he was awarded a scholarship, they stood up and applauded him, a standing ovation for 5 minutes.
All right, and Tom Tarver didn't like what he saw on the Kentucky defense. He takes a timeout. Timeout on the field, 12 minutes, 2 seconds remaining, first quarter, no score.
Stay out! Don't you move. Mommy will be right back.
Give your cat a break. Child-proof your home.
Rutgers 2nd down and 6 at the 45-yard line. Here's Bailey. He's got a hole, and he has what appears to be a Rutgers first down across midfield to the Kentucky 47. Gary Willis, the free safety, comes up and makes the tackle
nice block at the point of attack by the big tight end, Tim Pernetti. Number 90 did a really nice job, got the defensive end turn. Now look, he's in a wingback position. Watch number 90. Boom, nice block on Brady. Makes contact and maintains good contact. Drives his feet. That enabled Bailey to turn the corner. Enough yardage for a first down. That's a good-looking play.
First down and 10 for the Scarlet Knights at the Kentucky 46-yard line. Here's the give again to Bailey, and he twists and turns across the 45 to the 44. Jeff Brady, the bandit, comes up to make the tackle along with Jody Matthews. What's a bandit, Frank?
Well, a bandit is really a cross between a linebacker and a strong safety, and I got this from the Kentucky people. It's more linebacker than strong safety, and you talk about a guy who's equipped to play bandit. Jeff Brady, 6 foot, 228 pounds, 420-pound bench press, 4.56 speed in the 40-yard dash, and he's a walk-on. That's incredible. How'd they miss this kid?
4 minutes into the game, and Rutgers on the march. It's second down and 7 at the 44. Tarver, quick look, and Guarantano does not make the catch at the 40-yard line. Well, this is something that Jimmy had to fight last year. Guarantano known to make the spectacular catch, but he's got to catch those easy ones too.
It's all concentration, Lou. He's got to stay with the football a little bit more. He's an exciting guy. He's not real big, about 5'8" or so, about 175 pounds. We told you he's a very good athlete, but he's got to stay mentally in the game. He's got to stay with the football, not worry about making the home run all the time, hitting the home run, but making the key plays when he's needed.
Junior 5'9" out of Lodi, New Jersey. Third down and 8. Tarver straight back to throw. Now he's flushed out of the pocket and goes down at the 44-yard line. And Kentucky put the pressure on Dean Wells, the strike. And you can see why that position is named so.
Okay, that's the rush defensive end. Watch 42. He plays off the block of Dorsey, and he really does not make the tackle, but he forced Tarver off his feet, out of his shoes, whatever you want to call it. But that's why they call him the strike. He is the rush defensive end.
David Dunn in to punt for Rutgers. He's a sophomore out of Mount Vernon, New York. His first collegiate punt fumble, and it looks like Rutgers may have recovered, and they have. Scarlet Knights have the football at the 20-yard line. Todd Lane makes the recovery. Frank, it was Chris Tolbert who muffed the ball.
And he is the leading return man, punt return man in the SEC as of a year ago. He's an excellent punt returner, but he took his eyes off the football. And Todd Lane, the middle linebacker, was alert enough to pounce all over it. Excellent punt coverage for Rutgers. Now they must capitalize on this turnover.
There's your first turnover of the game, and the Scarlet Knights have the football at the 21-yard line. Again, a one-back set. TK Dorsey, actually Antoine Moore back there. No, it's Dorsey. Dorsey at the 20 and brought down there. Kentucky played it very well, and the Wildcats led by Randy Holleran, 14 tackles a year ago. Randy Holleran has the distinction of being the only member of the Black Watch so far. What's the Black Watch?
Well, Bill Curry had done some reading. He's a real history buff, and he found out that the Knights, if you will, the warriors who guard some of the Scottish castles, particularly the one in Edinburgh, are a very elite group of attack-oriented knights called the Black Watch, and he's named his defense the Black Watch. And if you want to be a member, you've got to play hard, and Randy Holleran certainly does. We'll talk more about him later.
Dorsey running hard inside the 20 to the 17. Billy Swanson on the tackle for Kentucky. You know, we talked about a pro-style offense. What exactly is a pro-style offense? What is Doug Graber trying to implement there?
Well, what he's trying to do is he's trying to get the ball around a little bit more, spread the offense, be a little bit less conservative. By doing that, he stretches the defense, makes them think more, puts more plays within the hands of the Rutgers offense to get the defense thinking that, hey, maybe it'll go this way, maybe it'll go that way, and create more opportunities for his offense to score.
Tarver to throw, fires incomplete. He threw outside, and Sean Scott, Jr. out of Willingboro, turned inside. Lack of communication, and John Benestat will trot out again. Benestat, an interesting story, freshman kicker, and he comes right in and wins the Rutgers kicking job.
Well, I tell you, the kicking game was a course of great concern for Coach Graber. He has he thinks anyway that the kicking game has come around, but right now the kicker has got to make this. Benestat, should be within his range.
Blocked! And the Wildcats blocked the field goal at the 25-yard line. Dean Wells comes up to make the play, the sophomore out of Louisville, Kentucky. That's a big play.
Okay, you talk about an athlete. Dean Wells at 6'3", 230 pounds, has 4.5 speed and a 37-inch vertical leap, and he used every inch of that 37-inch vertical leap to get in the air and knock that ball away. He's an excellent athlete.
All right, we didn't give you the Rutgers defense last time they were on the field, and we'll try to do that after this play. First down and 10 for Kentucky at the 26-yard line. Here come the Wildcats as Freddie Maggard brings them out in an I formation. Al Baker is the fullback, and the tailback is Craig Walker. Man in motion, John Bolden. Here's the pitch to Walker. He is nailed behind the line of scrimmage. Outstanding defensive play. It looked to be Ron Allen, number 1, and also Louis Beto, number 59, the linebacker, coming up to make the play. Here's the Rutgers defense. The Scarlet Knights up front will go with Marty Mays, the nose tackle. He's a great story. We'll talk about him later. Scott Miller and Chris Jones, the defensive ends. Two outstanding outside linebackers, Sean Williams and Elnardo Webster. Todd Lane and Jamil Jackson play the inside. Malik Jackson and Willie Wilkes, another great story in the defensive backfield. Marshall Roberts and Ron Allen also make up that defensive backfield. Here's a throw outside, and the catch is made by Kurt Johnson. Johnson, the sophomore out of Paducah, Kentucky, makes the catch.
Rusty Mays on the hit. A little too much cushion that time by Rusty Mays. Let's watch it on the replay. A little rollout action here. Pretty good pressure by Miller. But now look at the big cushion that Mays has given Johnson. Now you have to respect the speed of Kurt Johnson because he can really run. Now, good strong arm by Maggard. He's got to throw that on the run and get it in the right spot, and he did that time. That was a well-executed play by Kentucky.
Third down and 5. Here's the throw. That's good enough for a Wildcat first down. Phil Logan makes the catch. Logan had 28 receptions last year for 337 yards, so he's a favorite target of Freddie Maggard.
He led Kentucky in receiving last year. He is a good receiver. He's a big guy at 6'2", 190. But once again, Rusty Mays has to be a little bit more aggressive. When you know it's 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4, you can't give someone an 8-yard cushion. You've got to play him a little bit tighter and tougher than that. Mays has got to be a little less cautious and play these receivers just a little bit more aggressively.
First down and 10 for the Wildcats at the 40-yard line. Looks like a reverse and is. Here comes Kurt Johnson. He's nailed behind the line of scrimmage at the 30-yard line. And an outstanding defensive play by Scott Miller.
Scott Miller, Lou, is a stud. Plain and simple. At 6'4", 272 pounds. He's the fastest of Rutgers' defensive linemen. Let's watch it on the replay. He stays at home, but watch the athleticism there. He is very, very quick for a big guy, and he can dominate the line of scrimmage. I saw him in a state playoff game as a high school player absolutely dominate an excellent Fort Lee ball club. He can do the job. He has to do the job for the Rutgers defense.
It is 2nd and 19 for Kentucky. Here's Maggard, throws it up high. 4 grabs, it is nearly intercepted and probably should have been by Rusty Mays, the senior cornerback out of Freehold. John Bolden was the intended receiver.
Poorly thrown ball that time by Maggard. He threw it up for grabs. Rusty Mays has got to be more aggressive about going after the football. We talked about him being a little bit more aggressive in pass coverage. Now you've got to get that ball at the highest point. And judgment is so important there. Don't go where the ball is. Go where it's going to be and get it at its highest point. Big play for the Rutgers defense coming up here, Lou.
3rd down and 19 at the 31. They give it to the fullback, Baker, and he's brought down right away. Todd Lane, inside linebacker, sophomore out of Willingboro, New Jersey, makes the play. And the Rutgers defense, which of course was so porous a year ago, so far has played very well.
The whole new defensive philosophy. Coach Rachel, who is the defensive coordinator for Rutgers, says we're not going to sit back and let anybody take the football game to us. We are going to play much more aggressively than we did a year ago. We're going to react on the run. We're going to force plays and react to the offense adjusting to us.
Bill Hawk with a booming punt. Guarantano makes the fair catch at the 21-yard line. So that's where Rutgers will put it in play on offense. All right, Frank, here's the story with Rutgers so far. Scarlet Knights have had their opportunities, 2 field goal chances, both times come up empty. Can't keep doing that if you're going to stay in a football game against a good team like Kentucky.
No doubt about it. And Kentucky is a good team. They play out of the SEC, so week in and week out, you know that Kentucky is tested. So they're going to come in here and be very, very creditable as a ball club. Therefore, especially because Rutgers is such a young team, they must take advantage of every scoring opportunity. But one of the positive things so far is that they have not lost their cool and continue to play well.
Tarver gives to Vince Hall, who tries to cut back and doesn't get much yardage. Joey Couch, the nose guard, makes the play, and he's an outstanding story. Junior out of Paintsville, Kentucky. Last week, he had 10 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 blocked punt, and was the Southeastern Conference Defensive Player of the Week. Not a bad first game.
Well, Lou, he's an excellent athlete also. Very interesting about him. Not only was he an all-star football player in high school, he was an all-star basketball player and played in the state all-star game for basketball as well. Very unusual for a defensive lineman. He shows you what an excellent athlete he really is.
Second down and 10 at the 21. Tarver throws. It is incomplete. Intended for Chris Brantley. It was off his fingertips. Gary Willis, the free safety, on the coverage. A dangerous pass into tight Wildcat coverage.
Yeah,
Third down conversion so far. Excuse me, Frank.
Go ahead, Lou.
Rutgers 0 for 3, and they'll have one coming up here.
That's a catchable ball right there. Even though he threw into coverage, that ball was where it had to be. Obviously, right in the receiver's hands, a bit of a reach, but you've got to make plays like that. Chris Brantley, young guy, only a sophomore, but it's got to make plays like that. That would have been a big play because it would have set up a 3rd and short situation instead of 3rd and 10, which will now unleash the Wildcat defense.
Receivers are split left and right for Rutgers. They have twin receivers to the left, one back, and the give is to Jimmy Can. Can looks to turn the corner and cuts it inside the 25 to the 26. That's Jimmy's first carry of the ball game. Bill Campbell, the Rover, comes up to make the tackle, and Rutgers once again will have to punt. There's a look at James Can, a baseball player and football player at Rutgers, a fine athlete, and he's been a terrific football player for the Scarlet Knights.
Last year, he led the Scarlet Knights in rushing and receiving. He is not the fastest guy in the world, but he'll do so many things well for you, including put his head down and get you the extra yard. Unfortunately for Rutgers in that situation, the extra yard was just not enough.
Done with a line drive punt, a dangerous one, and Tolbert makes him pay for it as he takes it across midfield. Eric Deering made the tackle, but not before Kentucky gets excellent field position. Spit it out, Lou.
That's easy for you to say, Lou.
Oh, difficult, actually. The kick was 37 yards, the return 13 yards, so that's a net of 23. That's not real good. Rutgers would like better than that.
Well, we mentioned Chris Tolbert is an excellent punt returner. He led the SEC in punt returns a year ago. You don't do that unless you have something on the ball. He's a real good athlete with good 4.5 speed in the 40-yard dash. He can get it done for you.
5:10 remaining in this first quarter from Giant Stadium, the opening game of the year for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Here's the pitch to Craig Walker, and he's wrapped up as he gets across midfield. Chris Jones, the sophomore defensive end, makes the tackle. He's really a redshirt freshman out of Suitland, Maryland, 6'1", 260 pounds, and he has skyrocketed to the top of the Rutgers depth chart.
Oh, and has enormous potential. They like him very, very much. On that play, number 3, Willie Wilkes did another good job of, in a sense, making the play without making the tackle. It won't show up in the statistics as a tackle, but he took out the interference, did a nice job.
Maggart throws, and Bolden makes the catch across the 45. Pretty good coverage by Ron Allen, who makes the tackle, the senior out of Island, New Jersey.
Well, that's real nice coverage. He's being much more aggressive than Rusty Mays is right now, his counterpart on the opposite corner. Right now, Allen being very, very aggressive about covering his man. Allen, terrific speed, the fastest of the Scarlet Knights. He was a 100-meter champ in high school, ran 10.3. Just for people who are more familiar with the 100-yard dash, that's about a 9.300. That's flying.
Maggart in the shotgun formation in midfield, fires across the middle. The catch is made. It depends upon where they mark it. It looks like a Kentucky first down.
I think he cleared the 40.
John Bolden, excuse me, Frank,
Go ahead, Lou.
made the catch.
Let's watch it on the replay here now. A nice job by the receiver. Now, that's the tight end, Rodney Jackson, actually, Lou. Takes a real jolt from the safety, but I believe he fell across the 40-yard line. I'm going to go out on the line right here early in the game. First down, Wildcats.
Meanwhile, Freddie Maggard is 4 for 6 for 23 yards. He hasn't had the real long strike, and it is a first down for the Wildcats, but he's been efficient on the short passing game.
So far, so good. He's working within the scheme of the offense. Sometimes, Lou, you have to take what the defense will give you. Rutgers right now playing pretty aggressively. Remember, some of the things that you do now, even though they don't appear to be very impressive, set things up for later in the game. That's good coaching, and let's face it, Bill Curry is an excellent coach.
Kentucky coming off a 6-5 record. They're already 1-0 this year. Maggard straight back to throw. Throws long. It is incomplete. Pass thrown down around the 25-yard line, intended for Steve Phillips. He had 11 receptions a year ago, senior out of Fairfield, Ohio. Again, pretty good coverage by the Rutgers secondary.
Well, there was a safety blitz on. You see number 3, Wilkes, at the bottom of your screen, putting a little bit of pressure that time on Maggard, but again, a catchable ball by Phillips. But folks, take my word for it, the hardest ball to catch in football is the one that's directly over your head. Trying to squeeze those hands together with all that equipment on just isn't that easy.
Second down, Maggard again to throw. In the pocket, fires, knocked away, and tremendous coverage by two people. Number 1, Louis Beto, and Jamil Jackson, who's a sophomore out of Elizabeth, 5'11", 230, and he gets the start at linebacker.
The two inside backers with excellent coverage on the tight end. Looks like that time Beto got away with a little bit of a hold right there in the center of your screen, but beautiful coverage as they double-teamed the tight end inside. That was a forced throw, but great coverage by the Scarlet Knights.
Third down conversion, Kentucky 2 for 4 so far in this first quarter, and the Wildcats come up in the I formation. Maggard fakes the handoff. He's in trouble now. Dumps it off. Baker makes the catch and is drilled immediately by Willie Wilkes. And right now, this Rutgers defense is playing terrific football.
Terrific rush that time by the big guy, Scott Miller, and great coverage by the strong safety, Willie Wilkes. Now here comes Miller at the bottom of your screen, hands up. Sean Williams is also there. Now watch this hit by Wilkes. Bang! Taking down the 215-pound Baker. That's a great open field tackle.
Bill Hawk will punt again for Kentucky. He stands at midfield, and Guarantano's inside the 10. He sends it high and into the end zone, and Rutgers will get the ball at the 20-yard line. No score in case you just joined us in the first quarter. Rutgers' opening game of the season. Kentucky comes in with a record of 1-0, and right now the Rutgers crowd is into it. As you see Freddie Maggard talking to the coaches upstairs.
Well, it's been an excellent ball game so far, particularly from a defensive standpoint. Lou, we didn't get a chance to talk too much in the pregame, but I think both these teams have outstanding athletes on their defense. When you have good athletes, you're going to have a good defense. The days of the old behemoths that people thought couldn't get moved around, it's gone. You need speed, you need athleticism on defense. Both these teams have just that.
Tarver again flushed out of the pocket on first down. Now he'll cut it upfield, and Tarver across the 20, and we see our first penalty marker.
I think you're going to get a hold in the Rutgers backfield that time. Whenever a quarterback dances around that much, Lou, you always run the risk of a holding penalty on your offensive line. Let's see what it is here. Yes, and it is a holding penalty. And now watch Tarver. The protection isn't too bad, but Tarver decides to pull it down and run with it. I personally did not see the hold, but generally speaking, when a quarterback's going to move that much, Lou, you run the risk of that holding penalty.
And our referee, John Safi, makes the call, and this will probably push Rutgers back fairly deep. You just saw a shot of Tom Tarver as well. He's a senior quarterback, actually a redshirt junior, if you will, 6'1", 207 out of Jackson. There was a intense competition in the fall for the starting quarterback job between Tom Tarver and Bill Chesna. Tarver virtually won the job in the final scrimmage of the year. He went 6 for 8, 113 yards, 1 touchdown. But here's the catch. He did it with the second offensive unit, and I think that's what caught the coach's eyes.
He's a good athlete. Both those guys, talking about Tarver and Chesna, both excellent athletes. And I'll tell you one thing. The coaches aren't afraid to put Bill Chesna in the ballgame if they have to.
Dorsey takes it up the middle. Randy Holleran makes the tackle. Halloran missed all of last year with a knee injury.
I was just going to say that, Lou. As a matter of fact, another real interesting story. As a sophomore, he was all SEC. As a matter of fact, set a record for the most tackles by a sophomore and led the SEC in solo tackles with 107. Tore up his knee completely as a junior. They weren't sure whether he was going to come back. Had total reconstructive surgery. Then last week, what does he do? He makes 14 tackles in his first start back. He's an excellent, excellent player.
Second down and 16 at the 15-yard line for Rutgers. Tarver again gives up the middle. Not a whole lot of running room against that Kentucky defense. Derek Thomas and Randy Halloran make the tackle. You know, there's not much room up front against Kentucky. This is the first time that the nose guard has returned to the Kentucky defense since 1981, and with Couch in there, he's pretty hard to move out.
Well, they used to play what they call a wide tackle 6, which involved two defensive guards, as they called them. They've changed that, moved Joey Couch now, who's really well-suited in terms of size and athletic ability, to the middle, and it's a more aggressive attacking style of defense in the 50, or if you watch the pro game, it's really a 3-4.
Tarver throws long. Brantley makes the catch across the 50 to the 46. Salim Shahid makes the tackle, but not before Chris Brantley has a big gainer. 38-yard strike from Tarver to Brantley.
Well, I tell you, that was a nice job by Brantley, but Shahid here took his eyes off the football. He lost contact with the receiver. As a defensive back, once you lose contact with the receiver, your goose is cooked, and that's what happened. See, right at the last minute, Shahid looks the wrong way. Watch, see, he turned left, and the ball was going right. He lost sight of both the football and the receiver. Folks, that's a no-no if you're a defensive back.
Dorsey with a nice cut and turns what appear to be a loss into a gain as he picks up 2 or 3. Let's call it a 3-yard gain to the 42-yard line, and Rutgers on the move. Daniel Lee makes the tackle for Kentucky. There's only 10 seconds remaining in this first quarter, so chances are we will end this first period scoreless. Rutgers may not even call another play. We're down to 3, 2, 1, and that'll do it. We've played 1 quarter of football. The score, Kentucky nothing, Rutgers nothing.
For the best in community sports, you can't beat local cable programming. TV that hits home. Analysis, planning, design, management, preservation and rehabilitation of the land. From landscape design to urban planning, we're shaping the future. The land is our domain. The water is our preserve. We are the New Jersey chapter of the American Society of Landscape Architects.
Welcome back to Giant Stadium for the Rutgers football 1990 opener. And so far, no score as we are about ready to begin quarter number 2. I'm Lou Brogno along with Frank Labono. Glad you could join us on TKR Sports for Rutgers Scarlet Knight football. We'll have 5 games in all this season, including this one. We'll bring you the Colgate game from Rutgers Stadium. Michigan State back here at Giant Stadium. We'll go back to Rutgers Stadium as Rutgers takes on Akron, and then up to West Point for one of the great rivalries in the East, Rutgers and Army. Looking forward to it.
Oh, Lou, it's just so exciting to be here. And I'll tell you what, why don't we get the same weather that we have tonight for every one of these games? It is so magnificent. What was it, about 70 degrees at game time? What was that?
What a beautiful night. 70 degrees at kickoff. It's now 68. And 28% humidity. 28% humidity is unheard of in New Jersey. Terrific weather. Second down and 7 at the 43. Here's the pitch to Bailey, and he stood up, almost breaks away, and then is brought down at the 41-yard line. Again, Halloran on the tackle. Willis comes up to help out for Kentucky.
Good support by the secondary man that time, Gary Willis. Tackle by the primary hit by Holleran, and then got polished off by Willis.
You saw William Bailey there. Great story. We mentioned he was 7th on the depth chart. Just this past week, of course, he made the team, the traveling team, the whole thing. He got a 5-minute standing ovation from his teammates as he was awarded a scholarship. That's a great story.
Oh, that's something that'll stay with him for life.
Jimmy Cann is the lone back for Rutgers. Tarver's in trouble, gets away momentarily, and then is tripped up. Derek Thomas, the defensive end, makes the tackle.
Thomas was named as the most improved defensive ball player during spring practice for Kentucky, so he can get it done for you. That time there was a blitz going on. There was Kentucky trying to force Tarver out of the pocket, which they did do. The safety blitz, watch out of the top of your screen, that's the cornerback, which flushes Tarver out of the pocket, so then he gets polished off by Derek Thomas. Good aggressive defense that time by the Wildcats.
David Dunn into punt for Rutgers, and he boots a high kick. It bounces at the 5, and the Knights are looking to down if they do at the 10-yard line, but it took a Kentucky bounce, a weird bounce actually, on this artificial turf, as it very rarely bounces back towards the punting team, but TK Dorsey finally downs it for the Knights.
A lot of English on that one that time, Lou, because it looked like Rutgers would get the ball easily inside the 10-yard line. As it hit on about the 6, they had it well covered. It was just a matter of downing it, and the ball bounced backwards across the 10-yard line. Kentucky takes over 1st and 10 from their 11. Now another big series for Rutgers. If they can hold without a first down, they can get good field position.
Brad Smith is the new Kentucky quarterback, and Bill Curry talked about this. He said he would try to get both quarterbacks in, and now there appears to be a timeout. So there's a timeout on the field, a break in the action, 13 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in the second, no score.
Need to rent construction equipment? Call Trico Rentals. Backhoes, dozers, excavators, aerial work platforms, we've got those and more. Trico offers daily, weekly, or monthly rental plans, whatever suits your needs. Backed by 35 years of experience, equipment is delivered to your job in first-rate condition and ready to go every time. Because at Trico, uptime is the only time that counts. For the location near you, dial 1-800-GO-TRICO.
It takes more than concrete and steel to keep New Jersey's economy strong. It takes resources, commitment, and teamwork. At First Fidelity, we're proud to have helped New Jersey become the home of hundreds of major corporations and 2 professional football teams. Our commitment to teamwork goes far beyond the gridiron. It comes through in everything we do. Let First Fidelity show you how we can team up to make great things happen for you.
Welcome back to Giant Stadium. 13 minutes and 12 seconds remaining second quarter. Al Baker carried for Kentucky. Elnardo Webster made the tackle for Rutgers. A gain of 2. 2nd down and 8 for the Wildcats. They're at the 13-yard line. The new quarterback, as we mentioned before we took the break, is Brad Smith. Here's the give up the middle. That's Craig Walker, the tailback. Marty Mays, the nose guard, makes the tackle, but a pretty decent pickup of about 4 yards and a 3rd down and 4 coming up for Kentucky.
Pretty good play by Marty Mays here. Watch 65 take on the block of the center and the guard, slide off, and then use his quickness to get back in and get a good chunk of that tackle. Good job of breaking the double team by Marty Mays. Nice job that time.
Let's get you filled in on Brad Smith. Bill Curry said he will play. He feels he has 2 outstanding quarterbacks, and he wants both of them to play in the game. Smith throws, has a receiver, catch is made. It's a Kentucky first down across the 25 to the 27. Kurt Johnson makes the catch, and Rusty Mays on the tackle.
Lou, Rusty's just got to get more aggressive. I know he's in there as a substitute. Marshall Roberts, number 22, the normal starter, is out with a sore ankle. Mays has just got to be a little bit more aggressive. He's laying off those receivers just too much when it's 3rd and 4. Now watch this. Now look at the cushion that Mays is giving. I know Johnson has good speed, but that's why you're out there, son. You've got to make those plays. 3rd and 4. Don't give him a 6-yard cushion.
1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. I formation for Kentucky. Here, nope, Smith looking to throw. He's hit, intercepted. Picked off at the 25-yard line. It looks to be Sean Williams who makes the interception. Let's watch it again.
Great pressure that time by Elnardo Webster, and Mays causes the young quarterback to throw the football away, and a great job by the athletic Sean Williams to go up and get it. Williams is an excellent athlete. He's a great leaper, evidenced by the fact that in high school at 220 pounds, only 6'2", he was a 1,000-point scorer and a 1,000 rebounder in basketball. He's a great athlete.
Hurry-up offense for the Scarlet Knights at the 25-yard line. Receiver split left and right. Here's the give to Dorsey. Looks to turn it in, and then he is stood up by Randy Holleran. Not a big gain on the play. He might have picked up about 3 as he's down to the 22-yard line.
Let's watch it on the replay here. Lou, Dorsey's got to avoid turning his shoulder. Right? The replay is off. But what you have to do is, when you're a big fullback, man, you've got to be all knees and elbows. Dorsey right now turning his shoulder a little bit. He's got to run a little bit more square into the line of scrimmage.
Melton is wide to the left and Jackson wide to the right. But the give is to Dorsey up the middle. Not much room there. Picked up a yard or 2. Derek Thomas on the tackle, and the Rutgers faithful already getting restless.
I'll tell you, Doug Graber, was talking a little bit about more of a wide-open offense right now, not necessarily showing that with the conservative play calling, just the straight dive handoff to the fullback.
Here's a 3rd down, and call it 6. Tarver throws to Jackson inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. Randy Holleran on the tackle.
Talk about your big play guys. Randy Jackson using his quickness. Simple turnout pattern. Tarver got him the ball in the hurry. Let Randy run with it.
Again, here's that hurry-up offense. You see the replay, but the Knights are lined up. They're inside the 10-yard line at the 8. Melton is wide to the left and Jackson wide to the right. Dorsey, the one back behind Tarver. He fumbles the ball, and Kentucky has recovered inside the 10-yard line. Salim Shahid makes the recovery.
Crucial mistake by T.K. Dorsey. I tell you, that's why you don't like to pitch the ball too much at the goal line, because things like this can happen. He took his eyes off the football, Lou. That pitch was there. Dorsey looking to run before he put the football away. Sometimes that's why you want to stay away from the pitch on the goal line, because the tendency is for a back to be just a little bit over-anxious to get into the line of scrimmage.
Freddie Maggard is back in at quarterback, I formation for Kentucky. Here's the give, and met at the line of scrimmage and driven back is Craig Walker. Outstanding defense by Scott Miller, who comes up to make the play.
He can dominate at the line of scrimmage, and he's had a great preseason camp. Remember, he tore up his knee against Penn State 2 years ago. Took a whole year to come back. Last year, he had a very, very up-and-down season. The coaches didn't know what to expect from him until this season. He has really taken a leadership role on that young defense. Just collapses the offensive tackle and makes the hit. What a play.
Kentucky has not been able to run successfully. They have gained just 4 yards on the ground so far this evening. And again, they are pummeled to the artificial turf here at Giant Stadium. Elnardo Webster and Ron Allen combining on the tackle.
Rutgers much more aggressive on defense than they were a year ago, and I applaud it. I tell you, I used to feel sorry for Rutgers linebackers sometimes, Lou, because they used to do this read defense. They'd stay in their stances to the last minute and just get ponged every time. Now Rutgers is on the attack on defense.
Maggard takes the handoff. Now he'll throw. Throws it up for grabs again. It is incomplete, out of bounds. Good coverage again by Rutgers. Kurt Johnson came down with the football, but out of bounds. The Kentucky fans, and there's a good contingent of them up here in New Jersey, thought that he had caught it.
No, actually, watch this. Rusty Mays actually catches the football, I believe, Lou, but he does out of bounds. Watch number 20 as he goes up, and it's actually Rusty Mays who comes down with the football.
I guess the Kentucky fans were looking for interference, but certainly none there.
No, excellent defensive coverage that time by Mays.
Bill Hawk will punt from his own end zone and just gets it away. Elnardo Webster came in quickly. Here's Guarantano at the 40, and he's hemmed in at the 38-yard line. But again, Rutgers with an opportunity to get the football in good field position. Sterling Ward, the man on the tackle, downfield for the Wildcats.
Good field position for Rutgers. That's why that was a big defensive series. After the fumble, you've got to play defense, because if you do hold them without a first down like Rutgers did, then you get the ball back in good field position like Rutgers has.
Here come the Knights at the 38-yard line. First down and 10. In this young series, which has been played since 1982, Rutgers has won just once against Kentucky. The Wildcats have taken 2. Tarver looking to throw. Fires long. Has a man. Touchdown, Rutgers.
The pump and go to Chris Brantley. What a beautiful move by Tom Tarver and Chris Brantley. Now there's your wide open football. Remember what I said before? The little things that you do set up early is what you do later. Look at that great fake by Tarver. Takes 2 steps back, pumps, goes back another 2, and airs it out for the long touchdown to Chris Brantley. Terrific play. There it is again on the replay. Shake and bake. He is wide open for 6.
And Benestad's kick is up. It's good. A break in the action. 9 minutes, 13 seconds in the second quarter. Rutgers 7, Kentucky nothing.
Night Thoroughbred Racing at the Meadowlands. Meadowlands. We fill the place with winners 10 times a night.
What we've learned from research on the human heart has changed the way people live and how long they live. Death rates from heart attack have declined by a remarkable 30.9% since 1977, but it remains America's #1 killer. So contact the American Heart Association, because what you don't know can kill you.
Back at Giant Stadium, and Rutgers has struck here in the second quarter. They lead it 7-0. The long touchdown pass, Tarver to Brantley. Brantley has 2 catches for 76 yards here in this first half. Here's the kickoff. It goes to the short man at the 15, to the 20. This is the tailback, Craig Walker, who carries the football. He's to the 30-yard line, and Kentucky will put it in play there. Well, the drive. One play, 38 yards. It took 12 seconds, and, of course, it was the 38-yard touchdown pass, Tarver to Brantley. Freddie Maggard, Frank, 4 for 6, 23 yards. Tarver not doing bad. 3 for 6, 90 yards.
With a couple of drops, too. Tarver has looked very, very good, as Rutgers has in general.
Well, Kentucky might be in a little state of shock here as Rutgers leads it 7-0. Here's Maggard going back. The shotgun throws. The catch is not made. Again, excellent defense. This time, coming up to make the play was Rusty Mays.
Well, you know, we were riding Rusty a little bit, and we want to call it the way we see it. We'll give credit where credit is due that time. Rusty much more aggressive about attacking the offensive player.
There is a penalty marker on the field, and this appears to be against the Wildcats. The initial call is illegal procedure, right. So we'll have to wait and see what Rutgers decides to do here. Looks like they'll push him back.
Good move by Rutgers. Right now they have tremendous confidence in their defense. They want to put Kentucky in a hole, any hole that they can get right now, because they're playing with tremendous confidence on D.
Kentucky had just 1 penalty last week against Central Michigan.
And no turnovers either. And they've had 1 already so far today.
Here's the give to Baker, and not much yardage. Again, Rutgers stops it up nicely, just a pickup of about 2 yards. Chris Jones and Marty Mays make the play.
I'll tell you, Rutgers very, very big on defense. Rutgers in the past not necessarily known as a very big or physical defense. Well, folks, it's a new era with the Scarlet Knights. Miller at 272 pounds, Mays at 250, and Jones at 260. Folks, that's some heft in your defensive wall.
Second down and about 16. Here's Maggard looking to throw, and the catch is made, bobbled momentarily at the 29-yard line. Sean Williams in on the tackle, and making the catch was Baker, the fullback, Al Baker.
A little deceptive that time. People say, hey, what's going on here? Rutgers giving up some yardage. Your defense is going to allow you to have that when it's second and long. You want to prevent the big play. They'll give you the under reception so you can come up and smack the guy. That time, Beto and Williams did exactly that. Good Rutgers defense once again.
Third down and about 12. Freddie Maggard back to throw. Now his protection breaks away, fumbles the football. Rutgers makes the recovery at the 29-yard line. Elnardo Webster falls on the ball, and the Knights come up with yet another turnover.
An excellent pass rush by Marty Mays as he flushed Maggard out of the pocket. Watch 65 right there at the bottom of your screen, coming like a raging bull. Scott Miller on the other side, and then Elnardo Webster alert enough to pounce on the loose football. Watch it. Now watch Webster. He sees the ball right now, and he's going to jump all over it, just like they teach you in the drills. He wraps his body around the football to protect it. You can't diagram it any better than that, Lou.
That's the third Kentucky turnover here in the first half. Rutgers with a first down and 10 at the 30-yard line. I formation. Jimmy Cann with the football, and Cann with a fine run inside the 25 to the 24, and that's what Jimmy Cann does so well.
Lou, that was the first time Rutgers used the two-back offense, and you want somebody like Jimmy Cann in your backfield in the I formation because he's got the nifty moves and the quick feet. He may not necessarily break the 70 and 80-yard touchdown runs for you, but he's going to consistently get you those 4, 5, and 6 yards because he's so quick into the hole with his quick feet.
Second down and 4 at the 24-yard line. Twin receivers split out to the right, and they run that way. Antoine Moore does a good job to get what he did. Salim Shahid comes up to make the tackle. Antoine Moore is a junior, 5'11", 205, out of New York.
Also a transfer. He played with Georgia Tech for a little while, yes. So he's got the credentials.
He was the Gatorade High School Player of the Year his senior year in New York.
Nice move to bounce it outside, and then a good effort of keeping his legs going to get the Rutgers first down. That's fine effort. Right now, Rutgers dominating on the ground over Kentucky. They have 109 yards rushing. Kentucky being held to 6 by the Scarlet Knight defense. This is a whole different Scarlet Knight team.
Jimmy Cann just pulled off an amazing feat to corral that pitch, which was not the best. It was down around his kneecaps, and he got a hold of it and turned what looked to be a negative into a positive.
There's Jimmy. I saw Jimmy play in high school, had an outstanding scholastic career, scored over 50 touchdowns as a high school athlete, and has not disappointed on the collegiate level either. He's an excellent athlete, as we said, the starting center and leading hitter on the Rutgers Scarlet Knight baseball team, and an overall terrific athlete on the football field. Can catch the ball out of the backfield, can block, and boy, he can haul the pigskin too.
Under 6 minutes remaining here in this second quarter. Rutgers 7, Kentucky nothing. Tarver throws. Tight end James Jenkins makes the catch. He's inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. Brad Armstead makes the tackle. James Jenkins, senior out of Staten Island.
What a terrific adjustment to the football that time. That was not an easy catch as the ball was thrown high and behind Jenkins. Now watch, it's coming right into your living room. Now that ball is behind Jenkins. He's got to go up and get it. Knows he's going to get whacked too, but he concentrated. That's a big play because instead of 3rd and 8 now, it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4. Changes the whole look of your offense.
3rd down and 5 at the 14-yard line. Tarver throws, incomplete. Intended for Guarantano inside the 10-yard line, and I believe the Scarlet Knights will look to kick the field goal in this situation. John Benestat is on his way in. He's had one blocked and also missed on a 39-yarder. This one will be a 30-yarder. Jim Guarantano is the holder. The snap, here's the kick is blocked again. And Kentucky has now blocked 2 Benestat kicks this evening. Gary Willis this time coming in to block the kick. And Rutgers still leads it by the score of 7-0. But again, Frank, another scoring opportunity goes by the wayside.
I tell you, Rutgers would really have this game in hand in the first half if they could get their kicking game in order, but a lot of penetration coming up the middle. Watch it. Look at all the penetration. There they go again. They have the block on. That's number 42, Dean Wells. I talked about his speed and his leaping ability. He has the best vertical jump on the Wildcat team. They're setting him up to spring him up the middle to use that vertical leap to be able to make the block, and they're doing it beautifully.
Trying to get outside with very little luck is Tim Harris. He actually did pick up about 3 on the play. So a 2nd down and 7 coming up for Kentucky.
Tim Harris, an interesting story also. We talked about Jimmy Cann with an outstanding high school career, over 50 touchdowns. How about Tim Harris? 63 TDs in high school, over 4,600 yards rushing. And the kid in front of him, Walker, had 60 TDs and over 5,100 yards rushing. Man, that's depth in the backfield.
Maggard throws, intercepted. Willie Wilkes, touchdown Rutgers.
A defensive back's dreams, I tell you. They'll have to wipe the drool off of Willie Wilkes' lips after that one. The ball badly overthrown, and you either have to throw it 40 yards out of bounds. Watch it again on the replay. Now Maggard, a little bit of a pass rush, but he badly overthrows his tight end Rodney Jackson and right into the hands of Willie Wilkes. You either got to throw that into the 5th row, Lou, or right into the ground.
Benestat kicks the extra point, and Rutgers leads 14-0 with 4 minutes and 19 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Well, this Rutgers defense, it's like night and day looking at the 1990 version compared to the 1989 version.
Lou, I tell you, when I did my homework for this game, in some ways it was the hardest game to research, and in other ways it was the easiest to research. The hardest in the fact that there wasn't a lot of personnel that we had seen before so that we knew about, so I had to do a little extra work. The easiest in the fact that nobody knew what to expect, and the old statistics you might as well throw away because virtually all new personnel, new coaching staff, and new coaching philosophy. And I tell you, Lou, I personally have got to like it, not only as a broadcaster, but also as a fan of the game. They're just playing more aggressively. It's more fun to watch.
There's a look at some of the Kentucky coaches. Head coach Bill Curry must be shaking his head. He comes in with an overall record of 58-53-4. He was 26-10 in Alabama, won his first game last week. But right now, his team is in a little bit of trouble, I'd say, down by 2 touchdowns in this second quarter. Well, it's early, but the way things are going, certainly the Scarlet Knights have all the momentum.
Well, you have to stay with it, though. You have to guard against overconfidence with a young ball club, and I'm sure that's what Doug Graber is telling his team right now. We've got to play hard defense. We've got to stay with it, especially because we're a young ball club. Let's not let up.
John Bolden at the 10-yard line, to the 15, to the 20. 25-yard line. He's brought down, but a penalty marker on the play, and more than likely this one will be marched off against Kentucky. Malik Jackson in on the tackle for Rutgers, and Malik Jackson, a great story. Free safety by trade for the Scarlet Knights. He was probably the most highly recruited freshman, recruited high school player in New Jersey last year. And of course, he ended up going to Rutgers. Doug Graber with a prize recruit there.
Well, that's one of the keys, or will be one of the keys for Doug Graber and Rutgers as they march off the penalty against Kentucky. So many outstanding athletes from the Garden State that, quite frankly, Lou, just get away. Doug Graber's mission will be to keep them here. And that's how you're going to do that. You've got to win some football games against teams the likes of the Kentucky Wildcats. Puts people in the stands, gets the TV contracts. The kids want to be on TV. That's what gets your program started.
And Kentucky staying with their basic game plan as they try to run up the middle again. Tim Harris carried the football. Not a lot of running room there. Picked up 3, and Jamil Jackson on the tackle. Al Baker is down on the field at the 12-yard line. He's an important player for Kentucky. They certainly wouldn't want to lose him. He moved from tailback to fullback before the season started. He's a senior, 5'11", 227 pounds out of Cadiz, Kentucky. And he seems to be all right.
Looks like what we used to call a little stinger, when sometimes you take a good shot on the shoulder, Lou. Your arm goes a little bit numb just for a second, but you can really walk that off and rub that off. It's just a hard shot to the bone, a little bit of a bruise there. Sounds a little brutal, Lou, but that's what this game is all about, for hard-nosed kids only.
The average start for these teams, listen to this difference. Kentucky has started at their own 22 on the average. Rutgers at its own 47. That's quite a difference. Maggart throws. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage, but was caught by Steve Phillips, and that's good for Kentucky. First down. Phillips pulls it in. Senior out of Fairfield, Ohio.
Good pass play that time by Kentucky. Phillips, a good possession receiver with good size, 6'2", 210 pounds. Great hands, squares his body to the football, brings it into his chest. That was a good-looking completion by the Wildcats.
And you can see on the replay that it actually never was tipped at the line of scrimmage. It just appeared that way. Maggart throws outside. Incomplete, intended for Bolden. And that's one of those dangerous passes that Freddie Maggart's going to have to try to stay away from, throwing in the flat like that. Maggart last week was 13 of 27 for 92 yards and a touchdown against Central Michigan. And he has experience coming in. He started all 11 games last year for the Wildcats.
Well, he's a talented kid and another good athlete. He was drafted by the Kansas City Royals as a pitcher out of high school, throws 90-plus miles an hour for his fastball, so he's got the strong arm, Lou.
And he pump fakes, now throws long. It is intercepted. Picked off by Malik Jackson. And he still has the football and is down at the 38.
The 4th turnover for the Kentucky Wildcats, and what a beautiful interception by Malik Jackson. What an athlete. Boy, did he go up and get it. Let's watch it on the replay. Watch Jackson sky for that ball, get it at its highest point, use his hands, pull the ball in, and then makes a beautiful return to take the ball back up the field. The Rutgers defense, exceptionally impressive here in the first half.
Jackson, a linebacker by trade in high school. Why is he playing safety? What did he say to head coach Doug Graber? Malik Jackson said, I want to play where I can get on the field the quickest. You just saw him on the field. William Bailey carries the football and is knocked down behind the line of scrimmage.
Bailey's got to square his shoulders a little bit more, Lou. When you twist your shoulders as a running back and you don't run square up, you're exposing a part of your body that you can't protect, and you're going to get hurt. He's got to square his body, find the hole, get what he can out of it if there's no hole there.
Kentucky with 4 turnovers in this first half, and Rutgers looking to take advantage. They lead it 14-0. Tarver throws a grounder this time to Guarantano. Tarver rushed that one.
Well, Guarantano showed you his baseball playing ability that time as he took it on the short hop. There's only one problem in football, Lou. It don't count.
Rutgers is playing its 33rd game in Giant Stadium since this great football stadium opened back in 1976. Scarlet Knights have won 13 here. They've lost 19, which really is not a bad record when you consider the mighty opponents that they've faced here. They usually face their tougher opponents here at Giant Stadium. So when you take that into consideration, it's not that bad.
All-out blitz, Lou.
All-out blitz. Tarver read it beautifully, and Jenkins makes the catch. That's a fine job by Tom Tarver, the Rutgers quarterback.
Oh, great read that time by Tarver, but a great play on defense by Brad Armstead to take down the big tight end in the open field.
It's 4th down, and you can hear the crowd in the background. They want Doug Graber to go for it, and I think he might. 4th down and 4. at the 32-yard line. Rutgers already leading by the score of 14-0, and we'll have a timeout. So Rutgers calls timeout, and they'll talk it over. 2 minutes and 9 seconds remaining. Doug Graber excited about this game as he talks to his club. You know, he said, I've done the recruiting, I've done all the paperwork. This is what it's all about, right? And I think his team reflects his attitude. They're playing with a lot of emotion.
It's a whole new feel for Rutgers football, and I don't want to take anything away from Dick Anderson. I really didn't know him that well. All I can do is comment on what I feel, and it's like fresh air here at Rutgers. He's a different style, talking about Doug Graber than Dick Anderson. He is a little bit more approachable. He's very enthusiastic, and I'm not saying that Dick Anderson wasn't. That's not what I'm saying. But it's more readily apparent in Doug Graber than it was in Dick Anderson, and I think that's translating to the players. Personally, I feel good about it. I feel good about being around this team. It is like a new era, and they have a certain confidence, even though they're a young club, and it's kind of nice to be around, Lou.
And the Knights are trying to fight their way back from a 2-7-2 record last year. And quite frankly, if we can speak candidly, and I think we can, not much is expected of Rutgers record-wise this year. Therefore, a victory here tonight, and there's a long way to go, but a victory tonight would really be an outstanding accomplishment for the first game of the season.
I agree with you, Lou.
Here's a 4th down and 4 for Rutgers. Tarver looking to throw, in trouble, throws past Jenkins at the 20, to the 10, to the 5. He's in. Touchdown, Rutgers.
What a great read by Tom Tarver that time. I talked, there it is on the replay, and a great catch and a run. Some beautiful downfield blocking by the Scarlet Knights, and a nice run by Jenkins. But I talked to offensive coordinator Stan Parrish for the Scarlet Knights and said, Coach, Kentucky comes at you in waves. What are you going to do about it? And he says, we're not going to panic. We're going to use that aggressiveness against them. That time, Kentucky in an all-out blitz. Tarver saw it, dumped it off to the tight end, right over the middle, heading out towards the flat. It's wide open, Lou, if you can get the football to the tight end. Tarver kept his composure. Big play for the Scarlet Knights. This is amazing. This is a different ball club.
2 minutes and 1 second remaining in the second quarter. Rutgers 21, Kentucky nothing. And when this score goes over the wire across the nation, you can bet there will be some eyebrows raised.
That drive, 4 plays, 38 yards, 122 off the clock, 1 run and 3 passes. The touchdown Traver to Jenkins traveled 32 yards. And Rutgers, look at them on the field. Now, you can't see this out of the long shot that we have. Folks, I'll tell you about it. They are sky high.
Tarver is having an outstanding first half. 6 for 11, 145 yards. And James Jenkins, the outstanding tight end, 3 catches for 45 yards. And you can see why Coach Graber and his staff are really excited about Jenkins at tight end. He's a fine player.
Oh, and he's a great athlete. Last year, they needed a linebacker. He played linebacker for them very unselfishly, even though he was an outstanding high school tight end. Those are the kind of team players that you want to build a ball club around.
John Benestat kicks off, and Bolden takes it back to the 30-yard line for Kentucky. And the Wildcats, with under 2 minutes remaining in this first half, will look to get something positive going.
Here's Bolden on the return. Let's watch it on the replay. Breaks 1 tackle, but great kick coverage by the Scarlet Knights. Lou, that's how, I'm telling you right now, that's one of the ways you can tell a well-coached ball club, how they play on special teams. If they swarm to the football, that's good coaching.
Brad Smith is back in at quarterback for the Wildcats. He's in trouble. He's crushed behind the line of scrimmage. Joe Ciafani, backup nose guard, a sophomore out of Baldwin, Pennsylvania, makes the play. This is what Coach Graber said about Joe Ciafani. He has unusual toughness for a freshman. I think he showed it there.
Well, I tell you, he didn't pay the toll on that one, Louis. He came in untouched.
He came crashing through the gate, no
Man,
doubt about it.
He didn't pay the toll.
Second down, penalty marker on the play. This one is high and overthrown by Davis, looking for Steve Phillips. Good coverage by the Scarlet Knights.
See, in Rutgers that time, you watched Elnardo Webster knock down Phillips. Just for the heck of it, he knew he didn't have the ball, but legally he could do it. You're establishing right now, hey, you're in my area. You're paying the price, buddy. Kentucky in complete disarray.
Excuse me, Frank. It looks like illegal procedure against the Wildcats. And there might have been a late hit on the play as well.
Oh, he did really not a late hit again. Remember, he did it legally, Lou. No, we won't get a chance to see it. But what I want to point out is that Rutgers, that's how you stay aggressive on defense, Lou. Let people know, hey, you come here, you're going to get hit.
Penalty was declined. It's third down. Here's the give and nothing again. The Rutgers defense doing the job. Outstanding play. Louis Speedo makes the tackle. C was the ball carrier for Kentucky. That's his first carry of the game.
Rutgers called a timeout. They want to force Kentucky to punt here with a chance for either the block or with this much time on the clock, there's a good chance they'll get excellent field position, Lou. They may have the opportunity to score again. This is aggressive football on Rutgers' part. Don't mean to overemphasize that point, but we covered a number of Rutgers games last year, and I just want to enlighten people that this is a whole different era. This is a different ball club. Now here's that replay that I was talking about. Now watch number 93 here, Elnardo Reps. Just follow through. That is a completely legal play because while he was up in the air after the football, Webster went into his move to make that hit. That's aggressive football, folks. That's not dirty football.
Bill Hawk punts it. Guarantano at the 45. He looks to get out of bounds. Smart play by Guarantano. At midfield, he does get out of bounds. Stops the clock with 1:05 remaining in the second quarter. In case you just tuned in, the score is Rutgers 21, Kentucky nothing.
Say that again, Lou. I think people might be in a slight state of shock anyway.
Rutgers with 21 first half points. They scored one on a turnover and a couple of touchdown passes by Tom Tarver as well. And the Knights will go to work here. First down and 10, just shy of the midfield stripe. With 1:05 remaining, Tarver looks. Now he double pumps. Now he's in trouble and gets away and throws it out of bounds. That's a good job by the junior quarterback.
What a very, very heady play by Tom Tarver. I tell you, he was in a dogfight with Bill Chesna, and Chesna's got to be something else if he can push the likes of Tom Tarver because we've seen him in a relief role. Remember, he played behind Scott Ernie the last few years. Ernie, only the #1 passer in Rutgers history. So, he was playing behind a good player, but when he had the opportunity to come in, he did an excellent job. I remember a game here against West Virginia where he came in the fourth quarter, did a super job.
Second down and 10. Clock stopped with 1 minute remaining. Here's the give to T.K. Dorsey. He's across midfield to the 48-yard line. He picks up a couple. And the Knights will be faced with a third down. Third and about 8 coming up. Clock is winding down. 40 seconds remaining in the first half.
I think Rutgers will play one more home run ball here. Let the clock go down so that even if it is intercepted, Kentucky is left with little time to do anything, Lou. I think that's what they're setting up for right here.
Here's the give to Dorsey to the 45-yard line, and not much room there. Dean Wells makes the tackle for Kentucky.
Well, they don't have to take another snap now, Lou, which is something also. I mean, I would think they would have wanted to put it up a long way just for the opportunity for one more big play and knowing Kentucky couldn't hurt them if it got intercepted.
We have come to halftime. Rutgers 21, Kentucky nothing. Back with second half action and a look at first half statistics in just a few moments.
The events that make your community special, only on local cable programming. TV that hits home.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
If you're not recycling, you're throwing it all away.
Welcome back to Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. I'm Lou Brogno along with Frank Labono. Rutgers leading Kentucky 21-0 at halftime. Glad you could join us for our TKR Sports presentation of Rutgers Scarlet Knight football. In that first half, it was all Rutgers. Let's take a look at the halftime statistics. You see rushing, Rutgers 117 yards, Kentucky just 12. What a job by the Rutgers defense. Passing yards, Rutgers 125, Kentucky just 45. Again, reflecting the fine job by the Rutgers defense. As we move along, total yards, Rutgers 242 yards, Kentucky 57. Turnovers, Kentucky with the 4 big turnovers, Rutgers just 1, Frank.
Well, that was the big thing. When I talked to the Rutgers coaches, both offensively and defensively, they had to have no penalties and no turnovers. Why? Because they're such a young ball club, Lou. That's the thing that can kill a young club.
And you see the penalties, Kentucky with 2 penalties. All right, we'll be back with the second half kickoff in just a moment.
All the teachers come to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say.
The power of teaching.
The world won't get no better if we're just
The power to wake up young minds. The power to wake up the world. Teachers have that power. Reach for the power. Teach. I'm Edward James Olmos, and we're recruiting new teachers. Call 1-800-45-TEACH.
For the best in community sports, you can't beat local cable programming. TV that hits home.
Welcome back to Giant Stadium. Rutgers was just penalized for being offside on the kickoff. They'll kick it again, this time from the 30-yard line. So Kentucky will move right to left on your screen in their home white uniforms. Back deep for the Wildcats. Kirk Johnson stands at the 15-yard line, and John Benestat will kick it off for Rutgers. And we're underway in the second half. Rutgers leads 21-0. Here's Johnson at the 10. He's to the 20, 25, and crushed at the 25-yard line. Mark Harmon out of East Brunswick, New Jersey, and also Beckett, number 46, comes up to make the play.
You're very surprised, Lou, that they would kick to Johnson, one of the best return men in the country. Here it is on the replay. He's small, but he is quick. And when you're that small, you better be. But watch this hit, bang, and then boom for good measure.
First down and 10 for Kentucky. and they run it wide, but not much there. Craig Walker, the tailback on the carry, and Sean Williams showing some good speed from the left outside linebacker position makes the tackle.
Kentucky just not doing anything successfully on offense right now. They just can't get it going. They're trying to change their formation now to possibly shake things up a little bit. That time from the shotgun formation, little handoff, sort of like a quick slip draw play. Rutgers didn't buy it, no gain.
2nd down and 10. Ball marked at the 27-yard line. Maggard fakes the handoff, rolls out left, throws, has a receiver. Catch made out of the backfield, and then shakes a tackler to the 39-yard line. Neil Page, backup tight end, 6'4" sophomore, makes the catch and gets a Kentucky first down. Draws kind of a mock cheer from the Wildcat faithful. Malik Jackson did make the tackle.
Let's watch it on the replay here. They take advantage of the rush. We don't quite see it from that angle, but what happened that time was that Elnero Webster rushed. Whenever that happens, the tight end will release into the flat where the linebacker used to be. They dump it off successfully for first down yardage.
First down and 10 at the 39. Fake the handoff to Walker. Throws, intercepted, but out of bounds. Ron Allen with a fine interception, but it goes for naught as he falls out of bounds. Intended for Phil Logan, and again a poorly thrown pass by Freddie Maggard.
Just a poorly thrown ball. It was as it was overthrown. Pretty good play action that time as they faked the handoff inside to Walker. There you see it. He rolls to his left and then has to throw back across his body towards Logan, but badly overthrown. Intercepted, but out of bounds. 2nd down, Kentucky.
2nd and 10. Maggard in trouble, and now he'll go down. Sean Williams, the first man in for Rutgers, and you can see that he is fired up. Also, Elnardo Webster converging on the tackle. Chris Jones also got a piece of Maggard.
You know, Lou, I noticed something very, very interesting when I watched Rutgers practice the other day. Watch it here on the replay. They practice putting helmets on the football. They want to put as many people on the ball as they possibly can. Even in practice, when they make a tackle, the coaches want every other player to touch the guy who has just been tackled. That's good practice technique, and it's paying off in the game.
3rd and 19. Maggard in trouble. Throws the ball into the ground. And no penalty marker. No penalty marker. It was intended for Al Baker, I guess.
Well, Lou, you see, you can get away with that because he really wasn't in imminent danger of getting sacked. So what he did, because the receiver was covered, it was supposed to be a screen play. He had nowhere to go with it, so he just threw the ball away. You're allowed to do that as long as you don't throw it away to prevent a loss or a sack.
The Rutgers defense picks up where they left off in the first half. Bill Hawk with a high spiraling kick. Here's Guarantano at the 25. Looks to make a cut inside of the block and gets it across the 30 to the 32. And Rutgers will go on offense. Here's some individual stats in the first half. And we'll give them to you in just a moment. But first, a timeout on the field. 12 minutes and 49 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 21-0 Rutgers.
So, what do we have here?
I call it bank tellers.
Oh, well, you have to take it further. They're too friendly.
What do you mean?
Well, haven't you ever dealt with a teller? This window is closed. There is no record of your deposit. Hey, I'm on break now. You understand?
The tellers at my bank aren't anything like that.
Where do you bank? In the Enchanted Forest?
No.
NatWest, raising the standards of banking.
Are you okay? I think I got whiplash. And a concussion. Every now and then, life hits you with some very sour notes, and doctor bills can really add up. At MetLife, we do all we can to pay your claim promptly. Get Met. It pays.
$21-0. Rutgers over Kentucky, and the Scarlet Knights have the football at their own 32-yard line. 12 minutes and 49 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. A beautiful evening at Giant Stadium for the Rutgers season opener. Here's William Bailey, who gets around the corner and shows good speed as he has a Rutgers first down across the 42. Billy Swanson, the weak side linebacker, makes the tackle for Kentucky.
Nice job by Bailey to bounce the ball outside. Lou, running is twofold. You got to run first with your legs, and you also have to run with your eyes. Now watch as Bailey sees the hole to the outside. The only thing he has to get used to doing is switching that football. You see Swanson there could have raked it out of his hands. That's why you want to put it in the opposite arm from where the contact is going to be coming. Once he does that, he'll be an excellent back.
Bailey, 6 rushes for 29 yards. Rutgers first down and 10 at their own 44. Here's Bailey again, spinning and moving forward, and he has positive yardage again as he's near midfield.
Nice job of blocking that time. Some new offensive linemen also in for the Scarlet Knights. Maurice Owens doing a good job pulling from his guard position. I've noticed from time to time Dave Clark has been in to spell some of the offensive linemen. And Doug Graber wants to use, Lou, as many players as he possibly can, both on offense and defense. He feels like he's got a lot of young players, wants to use as many as he can.
And Rutgers once again with excellent field position. Here's the give off tackle to Bailey, and this time he's knocked down at the 48-yard line. Randy Holloran makes the tackle. Rutgers field position on the average in the first half was at the Kentucky 48. And Kentucky at their own 22. So Rutgers definitely has had the advantage in field position.
Watch 57 here, who doesn't necessarily make the play, but he stood up Tim Chris. That's Jody Matthews, and he should be able to stand you up. He bench presses 515 pounds, Lou. Man, I tell you, that's what you want out of a defensive tackle.
Third down, the throw is to Melton. Gary Melton drives forward for a first down at the Kentucky 42-yard line. Jeff Brady and Deuce Williams over there. Brad Armstead also on the tackle, and nice play by Melton to get that first down.
Melton, a good-sized receiver at 6 foot 190, used his superior size and strength, particularly against Brad Armstead, who's only 180 pounds. What he did when he caught the ball was make sure that he was going to drive forward to get that first down yardage that he needed to have. That's a nice play by Gary Melton, the senior.
First down and 10 to give to T.K. Dorsey, who blasts across the 35-yard line. Joey Couch makes the tackle, but not before Dorsey has a 7-yard gain inside the 35 to the 33. And this is a nice-looking Rutgers offensive drive.
Well, some impressive blocking by the Rutgers forward wall, and they're big also. Mitchell goes 290, Owens 268. Broadbent, he's the runt of the litter, if you will. He's 252, small guy, right? Then you got Chris at 275 and Forbes at 270. No tiny bunch of fellas, I'll tell you, Lou.
Dorsey, 13 carries, 88 yards. Second down, 3 for the Scarlet Knights, and Dorsey just puts his head down that time and runs up the middle. Penalty marker on the play. Derek Thomas might have got a piece of Dorsey's face mask.
Well, good hard charge that time by Derek Thomas and T.K. Dorsey. That's the kind of matchup you'd like to see on the football field. Big outside linebacker, defensive tackle, as you see very clearly there, the face mask penalty. But two guys knocking head-to-head. One at about 230 pounds, the other about 220. In that particular case, Dorsey wanted it just a little bit more.
It is a Scarlet Knight first down. And speaking of the Scarlet Knights, there he is himself.
They become out punching.
In all his glory.
A little kung fu there as well. I don't know. I guess since the Teenage Dweeb Ninja Turtles, whatever they call those things, I don't know. That's kind of made that kung fu stuff real popular again.
Here's Tom Tarver leading the Knights up. First down and 10. They get a first down on the penalty at the 27-yard line. Here's the fake to Dorsey. Tarver takes it himself, and he will run out of bounds at the 22-yard line. And a smart pickup of about 5 yards. Salim Shahid chases Tarver out of bounds. This is what Tom Tarver gives you, though, Frank. He's kind of, you don't want to compare him to Major Harris, but he's kind of that type.
He is that type. He is not an incredibly accurate passer, although I think he will become one with playing time, Lou, as we watch it on the replay. But about the same size as Harris, 6'1", 6'1" and change, about 210 pounds, with excellent mobility, and he's not afraid to put his head down and get the extra yards a la Major Harris.
This drive, 7 plays, 46 yards so far. 3 minutes and 10 seconds elapsed. Jeff Brady makes the tackle. TK Dorsey is close to first down yardage, but he looks like he's about a buck short.
Well, hard run by TK Dorsey, and I know that Doug Graber is very, very glad to have TK Dorsey as his fullback. He said, tough guy who's going to get you the inside yardage. And as I said earlier in the telecast, Rutgers has been without a true fullback for a long time. You know, tough guy who can get you those real tough inside yards.
3rd down and 1 at the 18-yard line. I formation for Rutgers. Here's Tarver to Bailey. He puts his head down and appears to have first down yardage. He had to get to about the 16.5-yard line. Billy Swanson on the tackle for the Wildcats, and they may measure in this situation. There's a look at Randy Holleran. Last week, 14 tackles, 3 quarterback pressures. Had a good game against Central Michigan.
Yeah, he's an excellent player, but much to Rutgers' credit offensively, haven't called his number all that much. That last play by Billy Swanson, nice job. Took on the block of Dorsey, shed the block, made the hit. It's going to be a close call here.
It is a Rutgers first down, so the Scarlet Knights are on the march. Here's some first half statistics, which we promised you we'd get to. Tarver, 6 for 12, 145 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brantley had 2 receptions for 76 yards and a touchdown. Dorsey had 80 yards in the first half, and the Rutgers defense forced 4 turnovers. Kentucky had just 12 yards rushing, and the second half has been pretty much the same so far. Receivers split left and right. They give it to Dorsey right up the middle. Holleran rides them down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line, but you saw the power of TK Dorsey there.
Terrific trap block, by Maurice Owens, the left guard, number 75, pulling out of his guard position and trapping down the line, doing so with authority. I tell you, Rutgers playing with enormous amount of confidence right now. I'd say physically, they're taking it to Kentucky, which for most people will be surprised. But as we said, Rutgers looking to be a more physical ball club on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
It is 2nd down and 7. Tarver looking, fires, catch is made. Lance Avina makes the catch. Lance is a sophomore out of Berwick, Pennsylvania, an outstanding young wide receiver. That is his first collegiate catch.
He's a little nicked up for it, too, which is like, welcome to the big time there, young guy.
He caught it inside the 10. Rutgers with a 3rd down and 2 at the Kentucky 8-yard line.
Let's see if we see that Tarver fake into Dorsey into the middle of the line, hide it on his hip, and maybe bootleg it towards the wide side of the field here. Let's look for that.
7:45 remaining in his 3rd quarter. Here's the give to Bailey. He's inside the 5, and I believe he's got enough for a Rutgers first down.
Well, when you get a vicious lead block like TK Dorsey laid on 2 Wildcats, you don't have to have your quarterback doing any deception. That's power football. TK Dorsey took down 2 Wildcats at the point of attack. Very, very impressive drive for the Scarlet Knights.
12th play of this drive, and they have a 1st and goal at the Wildcat 5-yard line.
Watch this block. Look at Dorsey there. Great job by Tim Christ, also pulling from the right guard position to trap. Power football by the Scarlet Knights.
Tarver with the 1-back set. TK Dorsey is down to the 3-yard line.
Beautiful job by Dorsey to read the hole that time. Jeff Brady stepped into the hole, sealed it off on the right side. Now, Dorsey could have just gone into a brick wall, but instead he slid one hole to his left, then put his head down where there was a little crease, then power drove into the line to get good, positive yardage on the goal line. You always want positive yardage in a goal line situation. You always want it, period, but particularly on the goal line.
This is a straight-ahead, no-nonsense drive for Rutgers. Here's the give to Dorsey. He's met by Holleran in midair at about the 2-yard line. He was stood up. He actually got to the 1. 3rd down and goal from the 1.
That's linebacker play. Let me tell you, Holleran bench press is 400 pounds. Watch it on the replay. Now here comes number 40. Says that's where the 400-pound bench press comes in a little handy, folks, on the goal line. It's my muscle against your muscle, and I think I'll win against the 185-pound halfback.
The Kentucky fans and Rutgers fans both on their feet. It's a 3rd down and goal at the 1. The give to the first man through. I don't believe he got in. It would have been Dorsey on the carry, and it appears like Kentucky has stopped him. Fourth down.
It's virtually right on the stripe.
And the Rutgers fans say go for it, and up 21-0, you would expect them to
No
do
doubt
so.
about it, especially the way the kicking game has been going for Rutgers. Let's see where he gets stopped. There's Halloran again. Does a great job of driving his knee and stopping Dorsey just short. The ball did not cross the plane. Good call by our official.
Here we go, fourth down and goal at the 1. Here's the give to Dorsey. I don't believe he got in. I see no signal.
No call from the Zebras yet. They look like they're in a lot of paint right now there, Lou. I don't know how. Let's see when they unpile.
First down, Kentucky. The Wildcats with a brilliant goal line stand.
Boy, did they need that. I could hear Bill Curry sighing from up here, Lou. That was a brilliant defensive stand that time. I can't imagine how Rutgers did not get in the end zone. You can't get any closer than where the football is right now. Let's see it on the replay. Looked like good job by the offensive line to get the Kentucky players off the line of scrimmage, but obviously someone must have knifed in there and tripped up Dorsey before he made the goal line. Obviously, you can't get any closer. That drive, 15 plays, 68 yards, 7:40 off the clock with nothing to show for it for Rutgers.
Brad Smith is the Kentucky quarterback, and he sneaks it out of there. He's to the 1-yard line. And the clock winding down, 5 minutes remaining in the third.
Now, Rutgers has to play good defense here on the goal line. They have to forget that they didn't get any points. It's time to play defense. Keep Kentucky within the shadows of their own goalposts and play defense right here, because if they do, Kentucky will be forced a tough punt. Rutgers with another chance with good field position.
It might be too early to bring this stat up, but keep this in mind. Kentucky hasn't scored yet. You know they've scored in 45 straight games. Here's the give off tackle, and again, not much room. Al Baker picked up maybe 2 yards on the carry as he brings it out to the 4-yard line. It's a third down and 6. Elnardo Webster makes the tackle.
Now you got to see where Kentucky's going to go with this. This is a big play for them, Lou, because if they have to kick again here, Rutgers once again with good field position. However, if they do something a little bit too risky, remember what happened when they were in this position once before. It got picked off by Wilkes. 6 for Rutgers. This is a real sticky situation for the Wildcats.
Here's the give off tackle to the 5, to the 7. It was Craig Walker on the carry, but the Rutgers defense hems Kentucky in. Chris Jones and Elnardo Webster on the tackle. And the Wildcats will have to punt out of their own end zone. Bill Hawk comes in to kick it away. Rutgers looks to get excellent field position once again.
And a good hand for the defense. Do we need to say well-deserved? That's pretty obvious, Lou. They've done a terrific job throwing the shutout at the Wildcats so far in the ballgame.
Snap is good. Guarantano circles back at the 45, now cuts it back in, and there's a penalty marker on the play at the 38-yard line.
You're going to get a clip against Eric Deering.
3 minutes and 2 seconds remaining, and there's a timeout on the field. 3:02 remaining. Rutgers 21 and Kentucky nothing.
It takes more than concrete and steel to keep New Jersey's economy strong. It takes resources, commitment, and teamwork. At First Fidelity, we're proud to have helped New Jersey become the home of hundreds of major corporations and 2 professional football teams. Our commitment to teamwork goes far beyond the gridiron. It comes through in everything we do. Let First Fidelity show you how we can team up to make great things happen for you.
For so many years now, Tylenol Because caring isn't just what we do, it's who we are.
As we come back, James Jenkins with a big catch off a pass from Tommy Tarver. He's down to the 33-yard line, 24 yards on the throw. Tarver to Jenkins.
Watch it on the replay here. Good job of play action pass. Freezes the linebacker. The tight end drags across out into the flat. Look at this beautiful fake. See the linebackers at the top of your screen? They have to honor a play fake that's that good. Look how wide open James Jenkins is as he beats Brady into the flat. That is all ball movement.
Give up the middle. Zane Bean on the tackle. It was Bailey on the carry for Rutgers. James Jenkins, outstanding so far. 4 catches for 69 yards.
He's a big target, a big tight end at 6'2", 235 pounds. He's an excellent blocker, has great hands. The second leading receiver in Staten Island high school history. So you know he can go get it. And he lost a whole year playing linebacker last year. That's a team player.
Tarver pitches outside Bailey across the 25 to the 24. And Rutgers just playing ground control football here with 1:53 remaining in the third. Chris Tolbert comes up to make the tackle. It is 21-0. Rutgers over Kentucky.
They're really eating up huge chunks of the clock, even though they haven't been scoring. Lou, you've got to remember, this score could easily be 30 or more to nothing if Rutgers converted on their scoring opportunities.
And Kentucky came in a solid 6-point favorite. Here's the give to Bailey. Off tackle. Looks like he has a Scarlet first down.
Terrific job of blocking at the point of attack by Tim Donald Forbes, and the pulling guard, number 75, Maurice Owens, who pulled out and led up the hole. Boy, I tell you, Rutgers just blowing people off the football right now. If you're a Rutgers offensive coach, you've got to like it.
We're approaching the 1-minute mark in the third quarter. Rutgers scored 21 second period points, and nothing so far here in the third, but obviously still in control, 21-0. Here's the give to Dorsey. Power football to the 20-yard line. Billy Swanson in on the tackle.
So you know who's doing a quiet, terrific job? Number 54, the center, Travis Broadbent. Remember, one of Kentucky's best players, Joey Couch, the nose tackle, who was the SEC Defensive Player of the Week last week. Really haven't heard much from him at all. And he's head-on-head with Travis Broadbent. So obviously Travis doing a terrific job at the point of attack.
I formation for the Knights. Jimmy Cann is the tailback. He gets the carry, and now penalty markers and whistles on the play. This will be against Rutgers. And illegal procedure is the call. This will push the Scarlet Knights back. 16 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Can you believe it? The third quarter is over already?
Rutgers has had just 4 penalties in the game, 35 yards.
One of the keys, talking once again to the Rutgers offensive coaches, to Coach Stan Parrish, what's the key in the game? Not turn the ball over, not make foolish penalties. We're too young a team to overcome that, but we are talented. If we can prevent those things from happening, we'll do okay. He's a good prognosticator.
It's a 2nd down and 12. Jimmy Cann carries the football, doesn't get much. He's brought down at the 26-yard line. Billy Swanson makes the tackle, and that'll do it in the third quarter. 3 quarters of football complete at Giant Stadium. Rutgers 21, Kentucky nothing.
And just stand by me. So
Association. Please call our helpline. We're here to stand by you.
Everything's alright. You and your baby on a Saturday night, making all of your dreams come true.
Every week, our water has to pass more than 335 tests before it can undergo this one. For water quality, call 1-800-648-SAND, 1-800-648-SAND.
The fourth quarter is about to begin at Giant Stadium. Rutgers 21, Kentucky nothing as we begin quarter number 4. And the Knights on the march. They have a third down and 14 at the Kentucky 27-yard line. Tom Tarver calls the signals, gives to Jimmy Cann on a quick opener, and he spins inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. Jody Matthews, defensive tackle, makes the tackle, and John Benestat comes out to attempt another field goal. It's been a tough day for the freshman field goal kicker, as he has had 2 blocked and missed another. This one will be a 39-yard attempt. Jim Guarantano is the holder. Kick is up. Kick is on its way. It is good. A 39-yarder. And John Benestat has just kicked his first collegiate field goal. A timeout on the field. 14:27 remaining in the fourth. 24-0 Rutgers.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jimmy Klein, and I'd like you to watch my television counseling show, Through the Looking Glass, every Monday night at 8 p.m. on TKR Channel 6. It's all about our feelings, fears, and fantasies, our pain, our pleasure, our problems, our solutions. It's a time for us to get together and talk things over and find out that we are not alone. So watch TKR Channel 6 every Monday night at 8 p.m. Or if you want to give me a call, just call 201-722-2933. Okay, just say the first word that comes to your mind. Stove.
Pot.
Soda.
Coke.
Break.
Crack.
Burn.
Acid.
Drug.
$24-0. Rutgers over Kentucky. Just underway in the fourth quarter. John Benestat just booted a 39-yard field goal, and he'll kick off here for the Scarlet Knights, moving right to left on your screen. That drive, 7 plays, 45 yards, 3 minutes, 33 seconds, and of course it ended with the 39-yard field goal by Benestat. Time of possession in the second half, Rutgers 11 minutes and 22 seconds. Kentucky just 4 minutes and 21. Here's a nice kickoff return for the Wildcats. Chris Tolbert is across the 30-yard line, and he's up to the 34. So Rutgers goes on defense, Kentucky on offense. You know, Rutgers last year gave up 424 yards total offense to Kentucky. A different story this year.
Well, the numbers don't lie, Lou, either on the scoreboard, and sometimes even those statistics are just not always true. Here's one for you. How about 62 yards of total offense for Kentucky? That's defense, folks, for the Scarlet Knights.
Davis throws it up for grabs. It's incomplete. No penalty marker on the play as Rusty Mays offered the coverage. I said Davis. It's Brad Smith who threw the ball. Brad Smith, the sophomore out of Lakeland, Florida. So both quarterbacks have had an opportunity to play. You know, Smith in Kentucky's spring game was 12 of 17, and out of those 12 passes that were caught, 3 of them were touchdowns.
Yeah, but this is a poorly thrown ball here. It's a very ill-conceived pass play as he just hangs it up. There was really no pattern to speak of, just a straight fly pattern, and when you're down this far, you got to do more than that.
And Rutgers with the sack behind the line of scrimmage. Elnardo Webster in on the play for the Scarlet Knights. That's the third sack of the game. Chris Jones also in there. This is the type of defense that Rutgers head coach Doug Graber likes to call smash face football.
We went to a meeting with him, Lou, remember, and he said, he's a nice guy. He's very, very personable, and he almost apologized for it. He said, there's no nice way to put it. We're going to get in your face and play smash face football because that's what it's all about. That's what defense is.
Third down and about 17. Again, it's up for grabs, and it's intercepted this time. Rusty Mays on the coverage intended for Phil Logan, and pretty much a carbon copy of the pass we saw on first down.
Once again, there's really no conception to it, and great defense by Mays. It's almost like running down a punt, Lou, because there's really not that much deception involved, none at all. Smith looks all the way and just hangs it out there. Now, Logan, a big receiver, certainly much bigger than Mays. Logan 6'2", Mays only 5'8", but you've got to do a little bit more than that to get your guy in the open. I mean, that's just like playing catch with anybody.
Rutgers only 3-9-2 versus the Southeastern Conference. Looks like victory number 4 is not far away. Here's the pitch outside. Bailey with a nice run across the 40 to the 43. Dean Wells on the tackle. You know, Rutgers, listen to this story. 27 of their first 44 players on the 2-deep depth chart have never played in a college game prior to tonight. You'd never know it, would you?
Well, Lou, we talked about it in the pregame just briefly, how young both these ball clubs are, particularly Rutgers. Look at William Bailey, who just made that beautiful run, giving Tolbert one leg and then taking it away. Was a walk-on, 7th string, now playing an excellent game in his first varsity action.
Here's Bailey looking to get outside. He's brought down from behind. Brad Armstead with a fine defensive play. He comes up to make the tackle. Sophomore out of Henderson, Kentucky. And the wave makes its appearance at Giant Stadium. Crowd in a festive mood. Scarlet Knight fans anyway.
At least.
12-24 and winding down here in the fourth quarter. Rutgers in command, 24-0. Tom Tarver's had a very fine game at quarterback for the Knights. And he gives it to Bailey. First down, Rutgers across midfield and to the 49-yard line of Kentucky. Marty Moore makes the tackle, but they'll move the chains for the Scarlet Knights.
Watch it here on the replay, Lou. Here's Bailey with the handoff. Makes a nice nifty move to get into the line, but the hole was there, and Bailey taking advantage of it. 16 rushes for 63 yards. Here it is again. Look at big Alan Mitchell blow out the linebacker there. Just take him right to his back. Bailey reading the block well, running for daylight.
Tarver with a fake. Bailey carried. He picked up maybe a yard as he tried to scoot outside again to the 47. Reggie Smith and Marty Moore combined on the tackle for Kentucky.
Moore, a freshman linebacker in there, number 45, 225 pounds, getting his first taste of varsity action here for tonight anyway, and having a tough time of it, having to take on those big offensive linemen like Alan Mitchell, who is only 6'3" and 290.
Second down and 9. A lot of shuffling around in the Rutgers offensive backfield. Tarver with a man in motion. That's Chris Stoll, the tight end. The give is up the middle, and again, just straight ahead power football for the Scarlet Knights. Not much deception right here. Smith and Moore. Zane Bean also in there on the tackle. TK Dorsey carried the football for Rutgers. Oh, Doug Graber now just taking it to Kentucky, trying to see what his front line is made of. Can they power the football down the field?
Well, I noticed a lot of fresh jerseys in for Kentucky as they switch back and forth, because Bill Curry has got to be a little concerned that his defense has been on the field so much. They have to be a little bit tired, especially taking on a huge offensive line like Rutgers.
3rd and 3. Tarver's in trouble. He will go down. Now, he flipped the ball out of bounds, and that has to be a penalty. No, they're going to say he was down. Jim Graves got in there quickly for Kentucky. The only thing that saved Tarver from intentional grounding in that situation was the fact that he was already down.
Yeah. Then the point becomes mute. But nice job by number 87, Jim Graves. He's a 6'6", 245-pound junior. That's one of those fresh faces that I told you, one of those fresh jerseys that's in there for Kentucky as Bill Curry tries to counter the offensive dominance of Rutgers.
Chris Tolbert is back at the 10-yard line. He'll receive the done punt. And he gets away, actually, from a would-be tackler.
He's got a hole.
And Tolbert, down the sidelines, is finally brought down across the 45-yard line. Well, maybe that's what Kentucky needs to get themselves back in gear. Sean Williams finally made the tackle. Jenkins got down there like he was shot out of a cannon, but couldn't make the tackle.
Now remember, Jenkins played linebacker. He knows how to tackle in the open field. You know, he did a great job as a linebacker last year as we watch it on the replay. Now watch, Jenkins is there, but Tolbert slips the tackle and gets outside. That's why he led the SEC in punt returns a year ago, one of the best in the nation.
Here's Brad Smith. He fires incomplete. Intended for Neil Clark, who's a junior wide receiver out of Paducah, Kentucky.
I know you've been waiting all night to say Paducah. I know you have, though. I know you have.
How'd you know?
I just had that feeling.
Second down and 10. Shotgun formation for the Wildcats at the 47-yard line. Here's Smith. He throws incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Rodney Jackson, over the middle. Falls incomplete. Mike Spitzer.
Got a hand on it.
Freshman out of Roxbury.
6'4", 275 pounds. Rutgers, for the first time, Lou, in a long time, has some real depth at both line positions with a lot of big young players, so they can come at you in waves. 6'4", 275 freshman, ain't tiny.
Third down and 10 for Kentucky. Again, Smith throws, fires it up for grabs. It's intercepted again. Malik Jackson, and he's got some running room. And he really shows his running ability. Remember, he was a running back also in high school, so he knows how to run with the football. Todd Perry makes the tackle, but again, another poorly thrown pass by the Kentucky Wildcats.
Just thrown up for grabs. Rutgers getting a pretty good rush out of their defensive line. The Kentucky Wildcat quarterbacks not showing the patience of hanging in there, just throwing the ball away. Rutgers with 5 interceptions tonight. That's unbelievable. Now, if I thought Rutgers had a glaring weakness last year, it was their defense's inability to force turnovers. Folks, this is 1990. Forget about 89. This is a new Rutgers ball club.
Malik Jackson has 2 of the 5 Rutgers interceptions tonight. Here's the give to Jimmy Cann, running hard with the football. Both hands around the football as Kentucky tries to strip it out of there. Joey Couch on the tackle. There's a look at the Kentucky quarterback, Brad Smith. Tough night for that young man.
No, hasn't shown much tonight, Lou. I mean, that's just calling it the way it is. Has not really shown much at all. Has not shown good heady play. Really just hasn't shown much at all. I can't put it any other way, Lou.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Second down and 7. The receivers split out to the left side. And Tarver pitches wide to Bailey. William Bailey cuts it in. He's near the 45-yard line. Gary Willis on the tackle. Wouldn't expect Rutgers to do too much here in this fourth quarter.
I noticed some fresh jerseys in a good move once again by Doug Graber. Not only keeping his players fresh, but seasoning this young team. I noticed 61 Doug Kavulich is in there. He's a junior, 6'3", 250 pounds, getting some playing time right now. This is when you establish, when you got a little bit of a lead, things that you do now can help you down the road a bit.
Tarver calls the signals and proves me wrong as he throws long to Brantley, who almost makes a great catch. Billy Swanson with a hand in his face, and the Rutgers fans looking for interference.
Well, I tell you, the ball was just underthrown. Otherwise, that was 6. But let's give some credit where credit is due. Billy Swanson is a 6-foot, 225-pound linebacker who would not quit on the swift Chris Brantley, one of Rutgers' fastest receivers. Look at him get back and into that play. He's got 4.7 speed in the 40-yard dash, talking about Swanson. And, man, he had to use every tenth of a second to get back there. Good job by Billy Swanson to get back in the play.
Dunn again kicks it away. It's a high, booming kick. Taken by Tolbert at the 10. He's hemmed in. Elnardo Webster down on the tackle. And also, it was number 46, Andrew Beckett, inside linebacker, just a sophomore out of Haddon Heights. And he's done an excellent job on special teams here this evening.
Terrific kick coverage that time as they double-teamed the tough Chris Tolbert. I mean, he's a tough guy to bring down. You've got to gang tackle him.
Freddie Maggard is back into the game for Kentucky. And keep in mind, the Wildcats have scored in 45 consecutive games. It's been a long time since they've been shut out. Craig Walker, the tailback, up the middle.
But also remember, Kentucky, quite frankly, Lou, does not play well on the road. And as a matter of fact, last year when they beat Vanderbilt, they ended a road drought of wins that was also lasted quite a while. Kentucky, for some reason, just doesn't like to play outside of the cozy confines of Commonwealth Stadium. How do you like that for alliteration, Lou?
That's very good. Maggard throws, and the catch is made outside, and then getting pummeled is Kurt Johnson, and he was almost beheaded by Malik Jackson.
Hey, is Malik doing it all tonight or what? You said he was an all-state player and one of the most highly recruited high school athletes in the state of New Jersey.
He has made
shown you why.
He has made his presence known.
Watch it here on the replay. Folks, this is when you're a safety, man, you pray for plays like this. When the guy doesn't expect, he turns in. Watch this hit by Malik Jackson right here. Hello. Oh, man, you got to love it. If you play defense, you got to love it. If you're a receiver, maybe not.
First down and 10. Maggard throws over the middle and caught by the tight end, Neil Page. Pickup of about 5 yards. And Kentucky now in a hurry-up offense. 6:38, counting down in the fourth quarter. Rutgers 24, Kentucky nothing. Here's Maggard, back to throw. Fires and has a receiver. That's a Wildcat first down across the 45 to the 46. Ron Allen on the stop. Kirk Johnson on the catch.
Kentucky has got to do something with this drive, and it still may be too little, too late. We've seen some stranger things happen, Lou. We certainly have. So they're not out of it. Rutgers must continue to play hard because Kentucky will play with Wildcat pride.
And that's something Bill Curry likes to stress. And in this situation, just trying to do something positive. Again, the tight end, Neil Page, makes the catch. Willie Wilkes has played a very fine game as well as he comes up to make the tackle. Willie Wilkes, quite a story. He also earned a scholarship. He was a walk-on for Rutgers and has since earned the scholarship.
Rutgers with good size at the safety position with both players and both safety positions being over 200 pounds. You like that out of your safeties.
Maggard throws intercepted by Wilkes, and he's got an open field. He's at the 30 to the 25 and is finally brought down at the 23-yard line. And for Willie Wilkes, his second interception of the night, the 6th Rutgers interception. And again, just open field. What is Freddie Maggard thinking about that?
Well, zone coverage, and he didn't see it. Watch it this time. They had the safety rolled up into the flat, and he just never sees him. He just see the cornerback number 1, Allen, playing the deep zone. They rolled up the safety into the flat, and Maggard just never saw him. He just misread the coverage. That was an inverted zone with the safety coming up to take the flat, and I tell you, Maggard just threw right into the teeth of the zone.
Willie Wilkes banged up a little bit on the interception. Bailey trying to scoot for some yardage. He's to the 20-yard line. Pickup of 2, second down and 8. All-time Rutgers record for interceptions in a game, 7 versus Temple in 1954, so they're 1 shy. The last Rutgers shutout, October 3rd, 1987, a game done by TKR Sports, by the way. 7-0 Rutgers over Duke.
Wasn't that an incredible, it was raining like all heck, and Mike Body emerged as a premier runner in that game, if my memory serves me correctly, Lou.
5 minutes remaining until Rutgers victory number 1. Here's Bailey as he spins to the 20-yard line. Really is all but over, folks, except for the final score.
Yeah, it's chances of Kentucky coming back here. Now it's, you want to stay with us because you want to see, is Rutgers going to pick up that shutout? Do you realize what that means to a young defensive club, one that took its lumps big time last year?
And again, you don't want
the whole pace.
You don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but against a club that has scored in 45 straight games.
Oh, an SEC opponent, many people consider the SEC the toughest league in the whole country. And you beat up on a team from the SEC? That's incredible.
And Tarver flips it out of there, and that is intentional grounding.
All-out blitz that time by Kentucky. Tarver really had no chance, so we just threw the ball away. But in this particular case, he threw it away to avoid the loss, to not take the sack. When there's no receiver there, that is the definition of intentional grounding.
And, of course, it's a penalty. You lose the yardage and a loss of down as well. And it effectively takes Rutgers out of field goal range. So that's not a good penalty by Tom Tarver.
No, that was the one heady play or non-heady play that he's made today. I was going to say the heady play that he didn't make. So the converse is true. But really, he has played a terrific game in his first start as a Scarlet Knight. A terrific game, really has, Lou. Really has done a great job. It was the first really, truly poor play he's made today.
All right, Dunn is in, and he will punt it away for Rutgers. Tolbert goes back. He stands at the 10-yard line. Just 4:23 remaining in the ball game. Here's the kick. He tries to angle it towards the sideline, does an excellent job. It will bounce at the 10-yard line, and again, Kentucky gets poor field position. Frank Quazzo is down to down it for the Scarlet Knights.
Good kick coverage now. 4 minutes, just a little bit more than 4 minutes left to play in the ball game. Kentucky with a long way to go. Now, if I'm a defensive lineman, any defensive player, Lou, at this point in the game, this is fun time. You're a defensive lineman, you work on your sack total. If you're a defensive back, you're going to try to for the interception record for Rutgers. There is no time that's more fun to play as a defensive player than right now, and you play with pride to keep the shutout. It means a lot. People think this is just garbage time. That's a bunch of baloney. This is very important time.
Al Baker, the fullback, on the carry, dragged down at the 10-yard line. Chris Jones on the tackle.
Boy, he's played a terrific game in his first varsity action, I tell you. For guys 6'1", 260, he's very, very quick.
And some confusion for Kentucky in the backfield. Maggard tries to direct traffic. He's got receivers split left and right. Out of the shotgun, he looks to throw. Inside is 5. Now he'll come out of there. He's to the 10 and bang down from behind. Scott Miller, who is showing some tremendous quickness tonight. Remember, this is a kid who's recovered from knee surgery, torn ligaments in his knee against Penn State in 1988. That's a tough injury to come back from, and he looks faster than ever.
Well, I watched him in the 40-yard dash trials, and he was the fastest of all the linemen, both offense and defenses. He was getting around 4'8", just under 4'9", and he said he's done better. I heard him talk to one of the guys, and when he was in high school at about 270 pounds, he was running about 4'7".
Freddie Maggard calls a timeout. 3:09 remaining in the fourth. Rutgers 24, Kentucky nothing. A break in the action. We'll be right back.
Many scientists say global warming is an experiment with the Earth we can't afford to take part in.
Already, the 7 warmest years of this century occurred in this past decade.
Yet rainforests that could help stop this warming trend are being destroyed. 50 acres a minute of every day.
The Sierra Club says it's not too late to do something. Find out how you can make a difference. Do it for your kids, but do it today.
Meanwhile, the Tokyo stock market fell off.
Morning. Smoky's made cat thread.
It's all yours.
I need to watch the weather.
Your sister has a game this afternoon.
Yellow umbrella on the mountain.
You want to see the umbrella?
Here. I know where it is. Underneath, certainly, because it's a chilly rain inside.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
You study for your science test?
Cable. It's part of life.
This message was brought to you by TKR Cable Company. We're making it work.
Back to the action. Maggart throws over the middle. Rodney Jackson makes the catch at the 25-yard line. That's a first down for Kentucky. Just 3 minutes remaining. That's the Wildcat. Yeah, he looks like he's having a rough night.
Yeah, he looks like he has a headache, and boy, he rightly should, because Rutgers really took it to the Cats tonight. They really did. No other way to put it, Lou.
Maggart throws, has a receiver, and then bam, coming up to make the tackle, Louis Beto. And Louis Beto is a fired-up player. Tim Harris,
back out of the backfield, Lou, took it, and boy, did he take a hit. Right now, Rutgers playing with authority.
second down and about 4 at the 32. Maggart to throw. Fires. It is nearly intercepted. The ball still up in the air. A penalty marker. Just about everything you can think of on that play. That should be a Kentucky reception. Looked like they probably are going to call interference against Rutgers.
I don't know. It looked like a pretty good defensive play by Ron Allen. If we catch that on the replay, we'll take a look and see. Because that looked like a pretty nice defensive play by Ron Allen. May have gotten there just a fraction early. Let's watch it on the replay here. Left top of your screen. There goes the ball. Here comes Ron Allen. May have got him in the back as he was coming across. Here's a different angle. I don't know. That looks like a pretty good play. It's all academic as a Wildcat caught the football anyway. They decline the penalty and take the play anyway. I personally don't think it was a penalty, but as I said, that's all academic as the pass was eventually completed.
Maggart play action, throws, has a receiver, but they say it's inbounds. Looked like he was out from here, but again, the officials are much closer than we are. Catch was made by Neil Clark.
Good play right on the sideline. Let's see it on the replay here as it comes up. Let's watch it. Let's watch for his feet as he makes the catch. They slow it down. He's out of bounds. He's out of bounds. They blew that call, too.
And there seems to be a...
They're waving it off. They're saying incomplete.
They talked it over. It's incomplete. There's an excellent job by the officials. You don't see that very often. They conferred and overruled their original call. You really do not see that very often.
No, and they made the right call, too, because he was out of bounds. In college, remember, you have to have 1 foot in bounds. He didn't have any. He did not drag that foot. He was out of bounds. That's an excellent call. Here comes Marty Mays.
And here comes, on the initial hit for Rutgers, Tim Harris made the catch, and Justin Kennedy came up and made the initial hit, and then Andrew Beckett made the tackle. But Kennedy made that hit, but I'm sure Doug Graber and Rich Rachel, the defensive coordinator, are going to tell Justin, you got to wrap.
You got to wrap him up. Absolutely. When you're in an open field like that, you got to whop him and then you got to wrap him. It's a twofold thing. You want to put the lick on him, but you got to make sure that you put him away.
The old whop and wrap.
That's it.
2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining. Maggart throws over the middle. Jackson makes the catch, and again a gang of Scarlet Knights bring them down, and Kentucky has a first down. Rutgers trying to preserve the shutout. They lead it 24-0 with 1:56 remaining.
Remember, very deceptive, this kind of yardage, Lou, because Rutgers in a prevent defense is going to give you a lot of that under stuff, 4, 5, 6 yards at a time, but you still want to stay aggressive if you're a Rutgers defensive player.
Maggart looking to throw, has time, dumps it out. Baker at the 40 to the 35, cuts it back inside, and he's down near the 30-yard line. And again, that should be another Kentucky first down. Beto and Kennedy on the tackle. And remember, in college football, when the chains move, the clock stops.
It's a good point, Lou.
That aids Kentucky here. 1:40, and the clock is stopped. The Rutgers fans are looking for the Knights to preserve the shutout. They're trying to get behind the Scarlet Knights. Maggart is hit from behind as he lets the ball go. Chris Jones got in there quickly And we've called his number several times this evening.
Boy, is he quick for a guy with that kind of build at 6'1", 260 pounds. Shows outstanding quickness, and he's only a young guy, a red-shirted freshman. Here he comes from the outside, defeats the block of the tackle using the speed rush. They use their hands. It's called a swim move, as they try to get their hands up, brush the offensive player's hands aside, and then just scoot to the outside and use speed to get in.
1:26 remaining. Second down. Maggart to throw. He's brought down from behind. Again, it's Chris Jones and also Mike Conlon, who I'm sure he doesn't want to be referred to this way, but is the brother of Buffalo Bill linebacker Shane Conlon.
Fourth sack for the Rutgers defense on the evening, and that was a big one. Here it comes. Now watch from the lower part of your screen on the left side. They do a little double team action there, 94 and 95, Jones and Conlon.
I'll mention about Mike Conlon. You know, we mentioned he is Shane Conlon's brother. Mike has had an injury-plagued career at Rutgers, and the coaches feel that if it were not for the injuries, he could have been an excellent player for the Knights. Not that he still can't be in his senior year, but he's a player that has really come on strong for the Knights. And Coach Graber and his staff see Mike Conlon being a solid contributor.
Well, he should be. He's a big kid at 6'2", 235 pounds. And again, you mentioned you don't want to live off your brother's fame by any means. But what a coach looks at is he's got the pedigree, if you will. It means it runs in the family. It's in the blood. The competitive edge is there. He's got the size. If he can shake the injury bugaboo, he can play. There's Doug Graber. Not smiling quite yet. Maybe just a little bit.
Doug Graber not smiling yet, as you saw in that shot. 1:09 remaining, and he's an very intense coach. Bill Curry, he can't be happy about this effort tonight. Doug Graber, though, just moments away from his first win in his first game. Maggart looking to throw. He's in trouble. He flushes out of the pocket. Fires end zone. Has a receiver. Touchdown, Kentucky. Phil Logan makes the catch. And there goes the shutout. 37-yard touchdown pass. And you've got to credit Freddie Maggart on that play. He did an excellent job.
Well, the real credit that time goes to Phil Logan, who used his superior size and strength against Ron Allen. This is good coverage. Nice mobility by Maggart. He's a good mobile quarterback. But now he hangs it out there again, knowing that Logan is much, much larger than Ron Allen. Now look at the difference in the size. Logan, 6'2", Allen only 5'7", uses his body to protect the football over his shoulder. That's good receiving technique also by Phil Logan, Kentucky's leading receiver from a year ago.
And a timeout as there's some kind of confusion on the field. I don't know what Kentucky might be doing here. They're down 24-6, just 1 minute remaining in the game. So the shutout goes by the books, and Kentucky's streak of scoring now is 46 consecutive games. But I don't think that's any consolation for the Wildcats and their fans on this evening.
Very interesting, though, the Rutgers sideline not ready to celebrate yet, and that's a good sign, Lou, because they want to stay intense, and I'm sure they're disappointed in losing the shutout, and that's the way it should be. You play with pride for 60 minutes. You never let up, and I think Doug Graber is going to tell his team exactly that. Guys, we did a terrific job tonight. We took, what's the slogan going now? We took names and kicked butt. That's the latest slogan going around, and that's exactly what they did. But they have to do it for 60 minutes. You never want to let down, give people cheap touchdowns.
Kentucky will go for two. Wildcats line up for two. And they'll get it as Walker goes into the end zone. Maggart to Craig Walker, and they get the two-point conversion. 24-8 the score.
Well, I think that's the only tackle that Malik Jackson has missed all night tonight. Good job of Craig Walker turning the corner that time and using some good speed to get into the end zone. Jackson was there, just didn't quite make it. Just missed.
So Rutgers, with just a minute remaining, will receive the kick, and chances are more than pretty good that Kentucky will onside kick in this situation, being down 24-8.
I'm sure Kentucky would like to think they could put another score on the board. There's really there really is no way they can win the ball game. I feel fairly confident in saying that at this point. But again, remember, the things that you set up now can help you down the road. Now, what if they were in a 4-point or a 5-point ball game where they really needed the onside kick? If they try it now and it's successful, they may have confidence in it later in the season when they really, truly need it.
Well, the Kentucky cheerleaders are certainly still happy. A minute remaining in the game, and Kentucky lines up for the onside kick. Pelfrey will boot it, bounces around. Jimmy Can right up there at the line of scrimmage, and that's the right guy to have there because he probably has the best hands on the team. Certainly one of the best pair of hands on the team.
He led the team in receiving last year. He's the starting center fielder on the baseball team. I mean, what more do you have to do besides wash the uniforms?